Hey there, friends. Oh, hey there, friends. Welcome to the support group, Hot Dragon support group, decompression group. That was quite the finale. We had some characters die. We had some live on, perhaps, in the rubble. We had betrayals. We had lots of violence. And I've got a full panel here. We got 4 people. Not 3, but 4. And we are here to talk to y'all and take your questions, clear up any confusion. I see there's confusion. And talk about some great lines and moments. The legend, Roddy the Ruin, going out like a champion. And there is this bloody high tower that people are talking so much about during the stream. Let's bring in the panel. And oh my goodness, look at all these people. We've got Roddy the Ruin, Damon, Sean Hero with 1,000 Voices, Michael Talks About Stuff, and Nettles. It's a Brady Bunch of podcasters and such. Hey,
Damon, you're frozen. Damon, your camera. You're frozen.
Oh, yeah. No, he'll work on that. I'm sure he'll get it going. That was unintentional. I just needed to fill the blank space, and that's how it happened. So they're with us in spirit. Anyways, hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, I'm so excited.
Sean, you are muted. You're pointing and you're muted.
I was saying, if you add Tim and Mickey into this and Estella, I'll dress up as the maid in the middle.
Sean is already offering to be the maid. We're off to a good start. Yeah. So Michael Talks, thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you coming over. This is the only way I can keep you from making videos about eclipses and things before I can get to it.
Yeah. No, you'll delay me by at least a couple hours.
A couple hours. Well, I usually roll out my videos on like Friday or Saturday recently. So, of course, if you don't know about Michael Talks About Stuff, now you do. Follow him. Click on his name in the description. Same thing here with 1,000 Voices and Nettles. Of course, my stalwart, trusty companion. And basically, it's good that, Sean, I have you and Michael both on here, because in my Moon Meteors video that came out yesterday, thanks for watching, I conflated my Moon streams, and I said that Moons of Ice and Fire was with Michael. That was with Sean. I did the Moon's Lore Summit with Michael. I linked both of them in the video. But the point is, we all love the Moon. Never had you all on the stream together, so thanks for supporting me over the years.
I'm ready to get started.
Officially, Michael, I tip my hat, but I didn't want to compete with yours.
That's all right. I'll tip it twice, and then one for each of us.
And then we're covered. Okay, so Nettles, what was your scene of the week? What was your favorite part? What was the thing that left a mark on you?
Oh man, let me go to my notes here.
You have to pick your favorite thing.
My favorite thing, right on the spot. No, I'll just say what the first thing I think of is Roddy the Ruin and Ormond. Ormond meeting his end. It was so sweet. A lot of main character ends this episode, but Ormond's was so delicious. That was like everything out of everything on the menu, that was the most delicious.
He stabbed him in the butt.
Texture. He did. People say that all the time, and I've never seen it actualized on screen. So
That's
I was
true.
like, yes, this is the first time we're getting to see that. And then Ormond, the guy acting, what's his name? His look of pain was so realistic, great acting. No, I loved it.
Yeah, he's set to blow up. He really did a great job. No question. All the actors really are treating us here. Yeah, that was a great ending. I love Silverwing roasting them both. And Ormond's like, yeah, or not Ormond. Roddy was like, yeah, bring it on. And
Yeah.
Ormond's got a knife up his butt.
Yeah, it was certainly a choice after how much they implied he might be playing for that team.
Yeah, the sort of repression closeted thing going on. Yeah, well, he is dead. Roddy he's definitely contender for MVP of the episode. We didn't get much Roddy this whole season, and then we got a bunch of him today, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
You think about legacy.
We're going to talk about Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is crazy. Sorry, Nettles. Go ahead.
Like, you think about legacy and how this episode, a lot of them said, like, oh, how do soldiers people want to be remembered and the difference between Kristen and Cole. But it's like, you think about Orman and how he's being remembered and his last moments. It's just poetic.
There are some funny things in the chat I can't read, but I see you, chat. Sean, let me go to you. I had you on once this season. I felt like we got sort of a slow episode when you were on. We got a little more work to work with here, so I'm glad you're back. What scene left an emotional impact on you the most?
I would say any of the scenes where Darren was trying to be the lone good person in all of this, and with Gwen, where Gwen's only instinct is to protect him. I thought that was a beautiful dynamic in an episode where I have criticism for a lot of things, but obviously the acting has never been part of it, and those two characters just trying to be the lone island of doing right by the people, really just Darren, when everybody else is just trying to murder their way out of this situation, it was wonderfully done, I thought.
Yeah, I like how they gave him the knightly vows. Michael, I see you nodding your head. That really emphasized, like, that all these people are supposed to be protecting women and children. And throughout the episode, we saw children especially, thrown in the way in the line of fire. It was impossible to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, Orman's like army of child soldiers that he was putting at the front lines was a nice touch to just show how bad of a person he is, and then also the damage that a battle like this actually does.
Yeah, the other example we have of that is Theon at Winterfell, bringing out Jory Cassell's daughter and threatening to kill her on the walls. Like, that's the category Orman put himself in with that dishonorable act, and contrasted with Daron, who's like, I might have to go and basically die because my men are out there dying for me, which is a point that we always bring up with the Dragon Lords. It's like, you have to go and support your people, otherwise how can you ask them to fight for you? So what was your favorite scene, Michael?
Right. So I made my note of my favorite scene before the battle, because I feel like that is kind of cheating to pick the massive dragon battle. And so my favorite before that was Aemond and Aegon's reuniting in Harrenhal, and Aegon like desperately just being like, I want to kill you vengefully, like, you're a terrible person, you tried to kill me, I want to punish you. And we get confirmation that Aemond has actually undergone character growth in the Weirwood Bed. Like, the dreams did something, and instead of like wanting what he wanted before he got there, which was to usurp his brother, take the power, he just wishes he could go back in time and fix it. He wishes he had his brother back. He wishes he had forgiveness. He wishes he hadn't been such a terrible person. And yeah, he just kind of falls to his knees and begs for forgiveness. And Aegon's like, I was supposed to enjoy this. Dang you, stop it. Like, it was great.
What did you think of that scene, Nettles?
At first I thought I liked it on principle, like, because we wanted to see Aegon meet up with Aemon. They haven't had a scene this season. But then I thought about it and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if we needed this. There's so many extra trips, right, that weren't written in the history books.
Well, it's not. This isn't the true history of Fire and Blood. I mean, it's its own thing. Right. I really liked it. I'm with Michael. I thought that was great. Because that theme of how revenge is empty and it doesn't really satisfy you was so important in Ice and Fire. And there was Aegon experiencing it in the moment. And then I think now that Aemon's Harrenhal arc has come full circle, we can really see that they did a good job paralleling it with Daemon. Like, they both are healing their rift with their brother and their sort of disloyalty to the rightful monarch of their family, Rhaenyra versus Aegon. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I mean, I don't know that they could just have Aemond walk around like, angry twink warrior guy, like, for 3 seasons and just never change. Like, that's kind of boring, right?
Yeah.
No.
Cool. I will say...
Go ahead.
I will say, I don't think for a second that Aegon was ever going to kill his brother. He came there to face him and be like, I need your help. Let's win this war. Like, but he can't just say that. He has to first, like, become more dominant. Like, I'm the big brother. I'm the big brother.
He did, yeah, and
I think
anything that I'm just biased in Tom Glencarney's favor, but yeah, anything he's in, I buy it. I'm immersed. I thought it was good dialogue. I dug it.
yeah,
But
I think he
my
wanted to
favorite
win
scene
like
of
a wrestling match, and then his brother didn't give that to him, and that's what I think he was mad about. I do agree. He probably did want to get him on side. He just wanted it to be like, I'm winning, not you're giving up.
he's like,
And
actually,
I
I've
think
thought
he is
about it,
short.
and I was kind of a dick, and I did try to kill you, and I'm sorry. I wanted what you had. I coveted what you had. Sean, go ahead.
It's such a weird situation because like at every stage, what is the actual plan? At the first stage is like, okay, I'm gonna come up on this gimped up dragon and take on Vagar, maybe the person who tried to kill me on Vagar. Okay, he comes through and there's no Vagar, so he gets off his dragon, and it's like, okay, what's your plan? You're gonna fight him. This you can't take him. Then it's like, okay, he's gonna let you. I should have Sunfire burn you. You're standing right next to him, and yeah, it's just every stage of it. It is the short-sightedness that Aegon shows constantly, and I expect that from him, and that's fine. That's very true to character, and it feels. And Tom Glencarney does a fantastic job. It felt weird from Aemond, and it feels weird going forward because of how we know he's supposed to kind of go out and what
Well,
he thinks his role in all of this is. And
so
I don't want to
consider
do
this:
spoilers.
he's craving atonement. Part of his mommy issues is that he's craving approval and acceptance and atonement. And now that he has, like, we have to buy that he does feel guilty about trying to kill his brother. And so only his brother can offer him that atonement. And I think that's the power that Aegon realized he had in that situation. The other thing is that Aegon needs Vagar. Like, flat out. I'm not sure if he thought about that beforehand and this was all theater and he was never planning to kill him, or if it occurred to him during the course of the conversation. But bottom line, he needs Vagar. And I really did like it when he's like, here's what we're going to do. You and me, we're going to go put Darren and Ormond in line, and then we're going to go to the Iron Throne. And after I've killed Rhaenyra and I'm on the throne, then maybe I will forgive you. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a great speech. But
Yeah, he's not taking any more of that. He's like, I'm getting my brothers in line, and we're going to do the thing we should have done in the first place, all actually united. And to the point about like what his plan is, I think it's roughly the same plan he had when he was gonna go and yell at an entire army. It's like he doesn't care anymore, and he
Yeah.
may, after that worked out for him so well, he may be drinking a little of the Daemon Kool-Aid, where he's like, "No, we are gods. Like I am a god now.
what was
Nothing
the
can
parallel
stop
between
me."
him and Rhaenyra?
Yeah, yep.
Which was
So
my
yeah,
favorite scene, by the way. Oh, go ahead, Michael. Finish your thought.
well, I was just gonna say, yeah, I think he basically is just like, no, this is gonna work even if Vagar's there because nothing can touch me after this. Like he feels pretty untouchable, and yeah, that's I think what his plan roughly was.
He also could have flown and scouted to see that Vagar wasn't there. The dragons
too.
snort at each other when they come close. So,
And he fly.
what'd you say, Sean?
Limp
I
fly.
said, can he fly?
We haven't seen. Yeah, we don't know. In the books, Sunfire's wing is so damaged that he could sort of only hop from hill to hill like a chicken or something, like a fire-breathing chicken is what Fire and Blood says. So hard to say. There's reference to like his crippled dragon or something. I forget what the language was, but yeah, we have yet to see. I mean, I guess we saw Sunfire land, but we didn't really. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. My favorite scene was Rhaenyra. I love crazy prophetic Rhaenyra. I'm actually working on a script about George's prophecy torture chamber that he puts all of his characters in, mostly Targaryens, but also like Bran, and people like that. And she literally said, like, I've been suffering under this thing my whole life. I have done everything that has been asked of me. And then at the end, she goes public with the prophecy knife and just gives a speech like, by the way, there's an ancient threat, and she's just going on. I don't hear any applause, but she's just plowing on.
Yeah.
Nettles, what did you think of that?
Come back to me.
Okay.
I made a note about that. I'm like, okay, like knowing what we know, her speech is badass, but it is also very funny that none of the people she's giving the speech to have enough context to know what she's saying. Like, they don't know anything about this prophecy. They weren't a part of her private conversations. And then she says, I am the prince who was promised in High Valyrian, which they can't understand. So, like, I did love that, like, the clash between, like, okay, this is pretty awesome, and also the crowd has got no idea what to do with any of it.
So think about it like this. Everyone's heard of the White Walkers. Like, they're folklorically known in Westeros, but most people don't believe in them. So it's kind of like the president or whoever coming out and saying that they believe in angels or fairies or something that like only 15% of the population believes exists, and saying, yeah, by the way, I believe in the angels and the angels believe in me, and I'm, the chosen one, and it's very important, and thank you all for clapping.
He's coming out and being like, the UFOs are coming. We got to do something about this. And only the smartest group of people are like, oh, yeah, no, that's something we got to worry about. Everyone else is like, I don't know if I believe you, sir.
And they didn't show us really the reaction either. So we're left to doubt. But by the end of the episode, when, and let's just go to this one with Helena, one of the creepiest moments in this entire series had to be Rhaenyra picking up the tapestry after she's contemplated Helena's body down in the moat, and she's seeing that, oh, not only did she embroider her own death, she embroidered me bleeding out on the Iron Throne like a sacrifice. Like, that has got to be chilling, because she was trying to shake Helena and get some sort of confirmation of her divine right to rule.
Yeah, that's got to hit hard.
Sean?
I also see there's kind of an interesting nuance where we come from the faith of the Seven, which is heavily based on the Catholic Church, and until very recently, Catholic Church services were only in Latin, so you could not understand what was going on even when my parents were kids. One of my parents was Catholic, and so they had no idea what was going on in church until they learned Latin or whatever. But the point is that the masses aren't meant to understand it, and then Rhaenyra comes out of the sept and gives that address to the people, and part of her speech is in Valyrian, which they can't possibly understand. And Valyrian is, in a lot of ways, the Latin of the series. So it's kind of like, it's going to sound like the ravings of a crazy person.
That's a good comp, Sean. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Nettles, I'm coming back to you.
Yes, thank you. So, Sean, that's exactly what I was going to say, is like, this is kind of like the makings of Mad Queen Rhaenyra, where like anyone listening to her at this point is like, what? So like, they just needed one more excuse not to accept her, but it's also a wink at the audience, because we understand what she's saying. Like, we know how big of a deal this is the biggest deal in all of A Song of Ice and Fire, right? But to the people listening to it, like you said, this is leprechauns. She's saying the leprechaun. This is fairies. This is like Bigfoot. So
Bigfoot's real. Go ahead. No, he's not. Not real.
No, I know, right? But I hope they enhance on this, like just giving us more nuggets of like how people think that she's Mad Queen Rhaenyra because of this. Like,
well, the chat is mentioning, how about her telling Alan to kill the High Septon and being like, our gods are older. This is just an empty house of brick, and then he stabs him. Like, that was cold, dude.
I don't like that.
Sean, I think I know where
play.
you're going with this. They're not going to assign the consequences that should have to Alan. Like, Alan should be known like Jaime Lannister from now on, like the Kingslayer, and he's not going to be, is he? They're just going to move.
The door was closed when he was stabbed. I think that they'll just blame Rhaenyra. And like, to what Nettles was saying, I do think this is much closer to how book Daenerys will probably be handled, is that like, she will do some very morally questionable things, but also like the disconnect between what she's trying to do and what the people perceive her as trying to do, sort of how you talked about the speech, like, we understand because we've been with Rhaenyra the whole journey, but the people don't. And so, Mad Queen Rhaenyra, I think, will be in a lot of ways similar to Mad Queen Daenerys, where the majority of the people may look at her as completely insane, Mad Dragon Queen, and we're going to be there the whole way and be like, okay, I don't know if I agree with everything she did, but it is understandable,
Yeah.
I think that is the way it'll be handled.
Oh, well, it's already starting. We're already hearing, tales of Mad Daenerys in Westeros. So there's no question people are going to talk about it like that. really interesting was oh shit, the thought slipped out of my mind. Sean, let me go back to you. I'll remember what I was going to say. Oh,
Yeah,
I got
was
it
just gonna
already.
say that. Oh, go ahead.
I'll come back to you in a second. So basically, that last line where she says, "I am the prince that was promised," that gave us, the viewing audience, the same feeling that the people in the crowd would have felt. Because up until then, we're like, this is all boilerplate. We know all this. A little surprised that she's out and out saying all this stuff. But when she says, "I'm the prince that was promised," we're all like, oh. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. It's gone that far. You know, she literally thinks it's her. But that shouldn't be a surprise, because this is the problem with the Targaryens since Aegon, is that they don't know.
Yes.
They know it's coming. Rhaegar thinks he's the prince that was promised. Then he's like, oh no, it's my son, Aegon. He was wrong. It was his sister and his other son. You know, so like, yeah, this is a constant problem.
Viserys thought it was Rhaenyra. Viserys thought it was Rhaenyra. And then when Daemon had the vision, it kind of reinforced it to her in her mind. And, like, she's been kind of, like, accepting that more and more as the series goes on.
I had been unclear on that, but I think you're right. When Daemon is mentioning, I saw, you know, a woman with dragons, or obviously Dany, they did think that was a reference to Rhaenyra as the prince that was promised. So, Sean, I said I would go back to you.
Yeah, I don't like how they did Alan Valerian. I think that the character has been a good person, and killing an unarmed man, like, aside from any religious issues that you have, he killed an unarmed man on an order, and it seemed very out of character. And yeah, it's also just going forward. And this is not spoilers because it has nothing to do with the Dance of the Dragons, but Alan Valerian is a legendary character in the history of Westeros.
Yeah, he's called the Oaken Fist.
In the way that Corlys is, right? Like, he gets a bad nickname. He gets, you know, he's going all over the Seven Kingdoms, just whooping ass. And he's respected. He's well liked. He's charismatic, but that just does not. That seems so far out of character. When
I think I agree with that.
He's been presented as a good person this whole time.
I was buying it up until then, Nettles, I'll let you go to this. But like the idea that like, oh, he's, you know, people are accusing him of wanting the promotion and not being super worried about rescuing Corlys. Like, that was an interesting level of tension. But I think I agree with you, Sean. That was hard for me to swallow. Nettles?
Yeah, I just saw it as them reinforcing him being someone who follows orders. I'm a good soldier, kind of like Ned. So, like, what was he supposed to do, Sean? Like, Rhaenyra says, kill him, and he goes, no, like, don't do that. Like, what other choice did he have?
You know, now that you put it that way, it's a little bit of a mirror to Daemon handing Rhaenyra the sword and be like, chop Otto's head off.
Yeah. You got the order from the highest law of the land, the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. So you're going to say no?
And we're supposed to tie it to Helena's Oh, go ahead.
He hesitated and looked uncomfortable as he did it, but like he did ultimately go through with the order.
I was just going to say, we're supposed to think of Helena telling Rhaenyra, like, you use people if they're useful, and if they're not, you forget about them. So this is...
Baela also just tore into her over that. Like, you wield your most loyal followers like a tool and then cast them away when they're not useful to you. Like, and yeah, got directly to the heart of it and got a nice little face grab by Rhaenyra for her troubles.
So that I liked. I liked Baela standing up for herself and her sister. That to me made a lot of sense. That's been brewing for a while. Baela is sort of... She doesn't give an F as much anymore because she feels guilty herself for Jace's death. Like, she feels kind of hollow. She's already chastised herself. So now she's a little more free to speak the truth, I think.
Yes, but, you know, Michael, you were saying how Baela says, or you use people when you can, or you cast them aside, but who among us hasn't pruned like their tree of friends and who you have around you? Like, that's the smart thing to do. And like, you put people in categories and boxes. You don't have to even, I don't mean like in a callous way, but it's like Rhaenyra is queen right now. She needs people who are efficient. Like, what do you mean? Like, she's supposed to have someone who messes up every job?
Yeah, it's part of that thing. Like, when you're the president or you sit on the throne, you belong to the realm. You don't have free will, and the people who work for you, it's kind of an extension of that. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say like the whole, casting people aside and using them. I'm like, well, yeah, that's feudalism. That's,
Yeah.
you are directly sworn to them. What I would say, going back to Alan, is like there's a few weird things going on there. One is that it was weird for Rhaenyra to ask him specifically to be the person to murder a Septon. That
I'll
is
give you that.
weird. She should not have done that.
She should have had him
There are
arrested, I
people,
would think, right?
yeah,
Like instead of just murdering him in the sept, like that's crazy.
right. And also just like there is a precedent for that kind of thing. So you look at like if you are Robert Baratheon and you need, Rhaegar's kids killed, right? You don't send Barristan even after he's sworn to you, right? Like
Yeah.
Barristan will say no. But you send Gregor Clegane, he'll say yes. What was weird to me is that somebody that I considered much more of a Barristan, who would maybe watch terrible things go on
Hmm.
and like maybe not be okay with it, but not really know what to do, actually did the terrible thing. That was what was surprising to me. I didn't think Alan had it in him. I don't think that character was like that. But most of all, it was weird for Rhaenyra to pick him to do it.
Yep, I think so too. But we can move on.
Yeah.
So now that we've been through our favorite scenes here, I'm going to bring in the fan funding and just thank you for all the super chats, guys. I let them build up and then work through them and come back to them in and out, bob and weave, that kind of thing. So appreciate you. We always answer everyone. So if we've gone past years, I heart them as I go. So if we skip years, then say something. Otherwise, we're working our way there. I've loved Rhaenyra's arc more than the book. She's been on a slow Lady Macbeth style descent, one with religious obsession. Her arc in season 2 is a lot more clear when coupled with season 3. Emma Darcy and Condal deserve accolades. Yeah, I like again. I continue to enjoy the Rhaenyra delusions of prophecy grandeur plot line. Obviously, Emma can pull it off. I think I mostly agree with this comment. Anybody else want to get in on that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hard disagree there. Just because like she's not Lady Macbeth, she's going the opposite direction. Lady Macbeth starts out willing to do the horrible things and genuinely insane, and then she grows a conscience and feels terrible about it. This is the reverse with Rhaenyra. She's Macbeth. She's the one who's hesitant to kill the king at the beginning, but by the end she's knee deep in it, right? So it's the reverse.
Yeah, Aemond is
I
Lady
would
Macbeth, I guess, according to that. And I should just want to, I don't know
Damon,
Macbeth, by the way, but go ahead.
I will agree. Yeah, Damon is doing the Lady Macbeth. Damon is the one who's grown a conscience. All of a sudden, he cares about his kids. He's doing the right thing here and there. He still did some pretty wild murder and chose murdering high towers over peace in baby steps, right?
He
But
let the kids move. The two kids that didn't move got roasted. He gave them a chance. That's as much as you're going to get from Damon. Carry on.
oh, I'm good. I think
Okay.
Michael had.
I was just gonna say I do enjoy like Rhaenyra's fall into the magical thinking, and like I also will probably at some point, now that the whole season has played out, put out a video about how they're handling prophecy, because like yeah, this is I think what George loves to do is like the misinterpretation of the prophecy, because we all know Rhaenyra is not the prince who was promised, because the others in the Long Night aren't coming for hundreds of years. Like we know she's wrong about being the prince who was promised, and the things that she's doing in the pursuit of that belief are slowly destroying her and undermining her, and it causing her to do terrible things, and that's what George does.
All I can ask, Michael, is that you don't name your video Prophecy Torture Chamber. That's going to be my video title. Okay.
I won't name it that.
You saw I gave you a shout out in my Moon Meteor video, right?
Did you? I haven't checked it out yet. I've been busy all week.
It came out yesterday morning. You had a whole 24 hours, Michael. Oh, you had family in town. I guess we'll allow
I
it.
do, yes. I have had family around all week, so. And if I do mute my mic and have to run off for a minute or two, it means someone came back, but I'll be able to hear you, and I'll come back soon enough.
Oh, we're the Roddy Bunch instead of the Brady Bunch. I was just going to say the rest of the Brady Bunch will cover for you, but that's how we became the Roddy Bunch.
Rowdy Ruin.
I will say, for me, I would love to see Rhaenyra's descent into madness play out correctly, because that's what we asked of Game of Thrones, like with Daenerys, were like, just do it correctly. So this is their chance to do it correctly. But my main issue is why show us the White Heart like in season one? Because it's so confusing. Because I want to like know, do the writers want us to think like that's chosen one symbolism? But it is
It was just a
realistic because
deer. It was just a deer. No, I'm kidding. I think it's a possible path that she could have walked, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know what that path would have been. Like, we want to go back and Monday morning quarterback all of her decisions, but I think maybe it's an indication that she wasn't necessarily doomed to fail, but her choices led her there. Like, there was a path for her, but she didn't follow it.
misogyny would have never let her win. Like, I mean, her being a good person doesn't, that's, you know what I mean?
I'm not going to
Yeah,
push back on that argument. I think that Corliss was right when he said there's a lot of lords that are just not down. That's probably true.
Yeah. We did also get the wind whispering traitor in season 2 when there was talk about putting Daemon there instead of Rhaenyra. So like between that and the White Hart, it does feel like the old gods or, you know, potentially Bloodraven in the future is like putting his thumb on the scales for Rhaenyra to at least believe like it may be the case of prophecy chewing you up and spitting you out. Like, maybe it's important that she believes this and falls into the line of the magical thinking, and maybe, like, you know, the White Heart appearing before her would be something that would motivate her in that direction, in that terms of thinking, like, no, the gods actually do favor me. So, like, that might be what it is. Either the gods do favor her, or the gods are going to chew her up and spit her out by making her think they favor her, you know.
Yeah.
However it ends up.
A
could just
deer
be
is
random.
just a deer. A knife is
Well, there
just
are
a
a few-
knife.
There are a few interesting things. Like, for one, we are noticing the White Heart that she chose not to kill, which is, you know, you're all referring to the trope of the hunt of the White Heart that you never catch, and it's about the worthiness of being a king. And we had the other king with help murdering a black stag for no reason, really.
Right.
And that was Viserys, and that's very pointedly saying that this man is not worthy of the throne. And now she's doing everything she can to imitate him, and she's sliding into worse and worse acts in order to try to defeat the other side, who are also doing terrible things. And it's a race to the bottom. And I don't know if maybe at one point she was worthy, and she, in order to become the person she needed to be to gain power, she lost that person. But I mean, this is not, that person did not become the character we're seeing. That character disappeared.
Well, I like that you're highlighting the idea that the White Heart thing is a test of, like, you know, mercy or whatever. And she had mercy before. But look at this episode. She's not being merciful to Helena, who's the sort of innocent, white-haired, if you will, creature that's in her possession, or even with killing the High Septon. Like, the White Heart is a sign from the gods. The High Septon, now look, that High Septon was spitting out some treason, there's no doubt. But we could have been merciful and arrested him. Instead, he was butchered in the Sept. So that's sort of like going the other direction from sparing the White Heart, isn't it?
Maybe the lesson is you can be the chosen one and still be crazy. Maybe you take some Ambien, you know, once in a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's how it is. Maybe the chosen one isn't always perfect.
They need some long bottom leaf in Westeros, man. It's only grows in Essos. They need it in Westeros.
Well, they have the sour leaf. That's what that's about.
I don't think that makes you chill, though. It just makes you ghastly looking.
But yeah, no, it's interesting with Helena too, because now, you know, we saw her have that vision on Dreamfire's back where these doors open and she blasts a bunch of people, and that was her ability to escape. She was seeing that she had that option where she could have escaped this, but she would have had to murder a bunch of people with her dragon, and she chose not to do it.
And how about she sees the horse and cart that she was dreaming of escape on, taking Mysaria away? Like, that was also really interesting. And then
Mysaria's
Mysaria
warning
tells her
her.
about Aegon. Yeah. That was an entire interesting little sequence I'd made a note we gotta at least bring up, because like I was trying to think if there's a deeper symbolism. Like, I guess, like, Mysaria being carried away to freedom that Helena doesn't have the option for. but like I didn't know if there was anything beyond that, like comparing Mysaria to Helena.
Yes, so Mysaria is telling Helena not to trust Rhaenyra's mercy, which is essentially what Otto told Alicent way back in the day. And Mysaria is taking that advice herself. She doesn't trust the gold and the setup in Esso. She's like, no, I'll fend for myself. Thank you very much. Thanks for the pension plan.
Yeah.
You gave me the firing with no 2 weeks notice. I'm good on the pension. I'll fend for myself. So she's telling Helena, fend for yourself. Don't trust her.
All right, super chats, right?
Yes.
I think we got through one.
What's
I
that?
think we got through. I think we got through one
correct.
super chat.
No, we're making
So-
good progress. We got it. We got it under control.
8-hour stream incoming.
Well, basically, the super chats are just, that saves me from the time of like, instead of going through the episode scene by scene or whatever, which is kind of boring, we're just reacting to what people are the most excited about, which I like. I think it's been working this year. This was a horrible MIO a decade ago. This was horrible, the episode. A decade ago, we had better battles and twists and turns. IDK if it's because I know the books now, but the adaptation is horrible. Well, I thought the battle was pretty good, not great. We can get into, I think we'll set that aside and come back to it. I want to talk about some of the more emotional beats first, but yeah, there's room for critique. I get it. A lot of it was exciting for me. There's a couple things that could have been better. Quick thoughts on that?
I've enjoyed it, but comparing it to the main series Game of Thrones as far as twists and turns is probably unfair, because it's got, like, the main series of books has probably some of the best twists and turns that you're going to have. So the history book adaptation probably won't live up to it in that respect, but like I thought the battle was solid. So.
I think I'd agree with solid. Or like parts were good and parts were, but yeah. We're here to air out everyone's opinion, so it's okay. You know, I mean, Sean doesn't like everything either, and that's all right. You know, Tom Glenn, neither do you, Nettles. In fact, you frequently will call out the show if you don't like something. So we're trying to keep it real. Here's the point: we're trying to be the voice for everybody, as long as we're polite or funny, one or the other. You have to be either polite or funny. Tom Glenn Carney was a delight this season. That resurrection speech and his "I'm alive." Yeah, that "I'm alive" was great. Like, well, yeah. I'm alive, so deal with it.
And he has no idea that Aemond is like, thank God you're alive. I've been dreaming of you, regretting that you were dead for the last month while I've laid in bed. So, yeah.
And what's great is that every Harrenhal scene now, you don't know if it's real or not. Right, Sean? Like, the whole thing starts off and you're just like, is this another...
Yeah, I was wondering what the hell he was doing there. I mean, I know his plan was, I'm going to go find Aemond and I'm going to go kill him. And it's like, okay, yeah, like even if his dragon weren't bigger than yours, you can't take him. That's all very, very dumb. And then he almost did it. That just felt so weird. So I'm like, yeah, this is a dream. Oh, he hit him. That's real. Okay.
That was cool. Yeah, he slapped him. He's like, he got a little bit of aggression out. But yeah, I think sometimes we do this as people. We know we want to confront something or someone, and we march in there, and we're just sort of going to use the force when we get there and just see what happens. And Aegon has been, like you said, running that way for a while now. So maybe once you get burned in Dragonfire, it sort of just changes your outlook on things.
Well, he was dumb and short-sighted before he got burned by Dragonfire. You know, we can complain that he's doing stupid things, but it's true to character. Like, it's well written. Like, I will never complain about the writing of a stupid person doing stupid things. That makes sense.
I think it's funny or interesting writing how they're all saying he's reborn. They're not saying, oh, he survived, or no, Aegon's actually not dead. Everybody around the Seven Kingdoms is saying reborn. So I wonder who did the marketing for that. That's really...
It's all very crisp. He said he was gonna immortalize him, and he was the one talking about that resurrection imagery earlier. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So I love the way they've done this. I think this is a good reminder that we live in the age of science and verifiable fact and internet and stuff like that. Different times, go back a couple hundred years, no one knows what causes a sickness or why people die or why a comet comes or what eclipses mean. And anybody that can give a good speech about it can basically convince people that like, it's because of the cats that live on the backside of the moon, or God's unhappy, or, whatever it is. And so that's the era we live in. Like, if they put out the word he was dead, now he's not dead. you know, so he's resurrected, and people love a good story. It's fun to talk about, you know. So
yeah, we kind of do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, we definitely do project our modern sensibilities onto things. When what was going on during this time is, if you were lucky enough to be able to see a doctor, they'd be, you know, between puffs of opium, they would say something like, "You've got ghosts in your blood. Let's do some cocaine about it and get that bile gone."
And then
like,
drill a hole in your head and let the demons out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just that one word, reborn, like made the Septon go to Rhaenyra and just start yapping, because now he's like, surely the gods have chosen him. Like, so we cannot back you.
Oh, that High Septon, he has several burner accounts on Twitter, like Team Green Fanatic. Like, he's like, that's the sign, Aegon. Like, I was like, bro, I've read these tweets.
I think he is definitely a Hightower loyalist. Like, you know, if he had anointed Rhaenyra first and then Aegon showed up being the one who's connected to the Hightower and the Starry Sept, he would have anointed Aegon. He's biased here, I think.
I know we have some believers in the Maester conspiracy theory, and I'm one of them. But there really is no separating the Hightowers from the fact that they are in the same city as both the Faith and the Citadel, and that their literal family keeps getting caught up in the management of both. Like, Hightower bastards become High Septons or become Grand Maesters or Archmaesters. Like, it's constant how much they're interwoven into that, which makes sense that they're in their city. So it's like, we really shouldn't be surprised when both of those organizations end up backing the Hightowers.
Yeah, you're talking about, you're messing with the Starry Sept. Like, it's clear that he is. And also, you know, we heard some gender bigotry from him too last week. So he's just like, yeah, no, the gods didn't choose a woman. I didn't need to pray to figure that out. Like, yeah. Anyway, so that guy's bias is pretty clear. Let's see. Rest in peace, Lord Roddy. We'll never see his like again. Rest in peace, Helena, our favorite dragon dreamer. Some people were saying they're disappointed we didn't get a Helena using glass candle reveal. She doesn't need glass candles. She is psychic as F. Like, she doesn't need it. So
she doesn't want more. She told you that last episode. She's like, I can't even ride my dragon, guys. It's too much. I don't want more.
Yeah, she's never been the type of character to seek that kind of thing out. It's inflicted upon her, and she deals with it. Go ahead, Michael.
I think we can now confirm what we talked about last time, that comment from Condal about a piece of the world building they're finally going to get to put to screen was about Savas, not a glass candle, as we hoped.
Yeah,
so.
We got the cats. Don't complain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not complaining. I'm happy to see
no,
Savas
not you.
too.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
What I predicted as well was almost correct. Ormond to get killed by a dragon. It wasn't Tessarion, but his losing the game of Savas to the dragon piece was, again, how George uses Savas, where he foreshadows how things are going to go for characters with the games of Savas that they play. And yeah.
True. Yeah, good point. Well, they did follow up on that. We did all think it was going to be Daron, but there was something there. There was a dragon. Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm heartbroken about my Queen Helena, the Queen Helena, and two, that we did not get the Princess Bride scene of Ulf, you know, with one of the Hightowers. Like, that was going to be such a good scene, but instead he's now against both sides.
Oh, no. This is like, they only stopped. They basically did first Tumbleton. Like, second Tumbleton, they did not combine. Like, none of the second Tumbleton stuff has happened. Hugh is in the city. Vermithor is there. Caraxes left with Daemon. So they're basically have left it in a very similar place. I want to come back to this. Now let's talk about it now. Frig it. So I think one thing that was confusing about the battle was, like, why didn't Daemon get on Caraxes and try to fight Silverwing or whatever? But basically, like, it was too late. Silverwing had already decimated the Riverlander army, and they were retreating. It was nice of Corlys to come back in and grab Daemon and be like, hey, we're retreating. And Daemon's a ways away from Caraxes. I see you nodding, Michael. Did that make sense?
He did get on him at the end. he did get on him at the end and chased. The last time we saw the dragons was Caraxes shooting fire at Silverwing as he runs away, and Vermithor looked like chasing both of them, maybe chasing Caraxes, being like, "Hey, get away from my wife." Like I was curious if they were gonna do that, like do anything with that, or leave it as just a cliffhanger, and they just kind of left it as Vermithor without a rider flying behind both of them.
Damon wasn't on Caraxes, the chat is saying, and I think that's
okay.
Caraxes
Okay,
was
yeah, I
rider.
wasn't sure about that. Okay, that makes sense. That
So
makes
once-
sense too.
right, because basically, sorry, Sean, Damon couldn't get to Caraxes. That's why he wasn't able to launch a timely counteroffensive. So Caraxes is maybe messing around, but once Damon retreats, Caraxes is going to follow Damon. And also Vermithor is huge, so...
Yeah, I did also make a note that Ulf saved Damon's life from getting killed by Bold John. Like had Silverwing not burned that particular street and collapsed the building between them, Damon was done. So
Yeah, he was getting worked by Bold John. They needed to raise Bold John's hit points somehow. And so now we've seen, like, he's a force. He's got... His Valyrian Steel Sword looked bigger than Dark Sister for sure. That's Orphan Maker right there, so...
Well, it's not about the size.
Sorry, Sean. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Well, I don't know. It's size counts for something when someone's swinging a big piece of metal at your head.
Helps.
It's definitely more momentum.
Oh, we're talking about swords again? Yeah, okay.
Well, the thing that we're looking at here in terms of an actual medieval battle, like my cousin, if you're on my Patreon or Discord, you've met my cousin. He used to do HEMA, so he used to fight in full armor. And if you're fighting with a sword and shield against somebody who's also full armored, very little is going to happen. So these people are both nobles, they can afford the best armor. We saw Damon later, cutting through people at the gaps in their neck and getting through. That's not going to happen. The rich people have the good armor. Bold John Roxton has the good armor.
They got the gorgets and things, the Van Braces.
Yeah.
So while they're smacking each other, Damon has a good sword, but he's not going to just cut through that armor, and neither is Bold John Roxton, but he's swinging a much larger, heavier sword. At this point, that's what they're doing when knights are fighting each other, is it's basically just blunt force trauma, which is why Warhammers are so effective against other armored people. So, I mean, when they're just in a battle of trying to bludgeon each other, Bold John Roxton's going to win that one.
Yeah, and Bold John didn't die. They would have shown us. Daron is almost certainly not dead. We didn't get any sort of closure or closing moment with him. Tessarion's didn't get loosed. So
I did go back and look, and I don't think we saw Darren's body, but I did double check to try.
You're so
and look
sneaky,
for it.
Michael. I didn't even notice you looking on the...
The chat is over there, but I was also flipping through certain scenes. Just
you don't. I'm in admiration. You don't have to defend yourself. You're a smooth operator.
He's got his second screen is up with it right now on mute.
Yep. I do. I have another muted laptop over there. So.
He's watching like Preston Jacobs and Alt Shift X at the same time, and whoever else is streaming. I don't know.
I'm stealing my takes. Yeah.
Glidus is hammered.
Yeah, it's we're all propping up this thing together until George can, By the way, good time to talk about it. Next Sunday, you all are invited. Everyone that's ever been on my channel is invited. It's a George appreciation stream. We're going to go back to the normal time, which is 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. It will be a We Love You George stream. You guys have probably seen the blog post. He's dealing with some depression. And I just thought it'd be a good time to talk about what Ice and Fire's meant to us. And, we'll take, when I say we, I mean y'all in the chat as well as my guests. So we'll do that next Sunday. I won't go on and on about it lest I start crying and getting emotional, but we love you, George.
Bring those tears over here. Get him crying.
Yeah. So I was thinking if there's enough people that want to come on, I'll have people come on and off and something like that. We'll work it out, but that'll be next Sunday, guys. So look out for that. And let me just look at the chat after I said that, because everybody loves George. That's right. We're supportive over here.
Yeah.
If you want to rip on the man that's brought us all this fun and universe and stuff, this is not the place. So anyways, we love it's okay. Let me change this topic. Everyone's crying now. Okay. So back to the super chats.
Not all tears are an evil.
Well, I appreciate George being real and talking about his struggles. So
Yeah.
it's good to be. You gotta talk about it sometimes. Did anyone catch the guy Ulf on the White was talking to? The guy had silver hair. I'm not sure what this. Xavier, could you repeat the question?
In the bar.
What's that?
In the bar beforehand, in the bar when Ulf was having his drinking scene, like where he's, taking shots at Daemon and saying how the queen won't let him use his dragon. I think they're asking if we caught who he was talking to, which I did not notice.
I did notice there was a silver-haired dude. I didn't know if he was supposed to be anybody.
I just thought it was white hair. I didn't think it was a big deal, but yeah, I mean, him talking like he was hosting his own podcast, that was wild.
Yeah.
You're so right. Ulf would be he would be a podcaster. That's exactly what his modern profession would be.
He is ignorant enough to be in that manosphere, just like
Twitch.
hockey.
He'd be a Twitch streamer.
The Ulf the White experience.
I'd probably watch too sometimes at least.
I would too, yeah.
Apparently
when he has a good guest.
Apparently Lord Ormond is a bottom after all. Wah, wah. Making me repeat your Randy jokes.
Got him.
Full uncontrollable sob when all those butterflies took flight. So I actually do have to say the show handled that pretty well. We got the one shot of Helena's body. We didn't see the jump. We didn't, they didn't make it gratuitous. But there was a lot of, like I said, haunting when Rhaenyra was reading the tapestry. The butterflies taking off, that was not, we all understood what that was. That was, thoughts, guys?
Handled very well. It was not handled well when they had Tommen do it. It also didn't feel deserved. It felt weird. And the scene itself looked comical. It was just not well done in Game of Thrones. This was very well done. We got the emotional weight from it. It was just presented as very sad, and it was presented well.
Yeah, seeing her, she literally embroidered herself falling out of the Red Keep. So that was our shot into the fall. That was a really clever choice. Go ahead.
I thought that what we were going to get first, because the first thing that she did when she was embroidering, the last thing she was embroidering was a tower, and she left her last thread unfinished hanging from the tower. And I thought that was going to be our symbolism in the embroidery is she leaves her tower, or she leaves her embroidery unfinished with the last red thread falling off the tower. And then no, it's they hit us double with them actually having it embroidered into the whole thing. So yeah, she's been working on that one for a while.
Yeah, the only thing they missed, I agree with Dove in the chat here, no Dreamfire scream. I don't know why they wouldn't have just done that. But other than that, it was handled really well.
Instead of a Dreamfire scream, it was more of an Alicent. That moment, I felt like a mother feeling that her child has left the world. How sometimes people say I knew the moment somebody died across the country, someone who was close to them or something like that. So I guess we got that instead of Dreamfire. I just wish there was more of a buildup. I think, I wish, I don't want it to make it seem like I'm saying I wish that Helena suffered more, but I feel what did Rhaenyra do? She made you eat. That's it. So that's what made it so.
She did waterboard her with stew.
Yeah, but I mean, it's food. I mean, I'm sorry. I've seen too many scenes of people in the hospital who refuse to eat get a tube put down their throats. Any doctor is going to keep you alive. You can't not eat. So it's just okay, that's all it took.
Well, Nettles, I will just remind you that you are a very different person than Helena. You are you are more like Nettles from the books. You are a warrior. You're very this is consistently your opinion on the story. You're disappointed when people aren't as tough as you sometimes, I think.
No, I just want I would just want it to be more deserved. I want to hate Rhaenyra for doing this, and instead I'm just kind of okay, now okay. I wish it was something more, maybe something to do with her baby being threatened, or I don't know, just a more heinous crime than being you gotta eat because you're eating for two, and she's no. It's
I guess you're saying
both opinions in the chat. Go ahead, Michael.
Sean was saying something.
Oh, Sean, sorry.
I was going to say, I get what you're saying to a point. This could have fed well into Rhaenyra's madness arc. This could have been used by the plot in more than just kind of like cutting off her thread. Like it felt kind of isolated aside from Rhaenyra looking sadly out a window. Like it didn't I think that it was handled well for Helena, but if you look at the implications to other characters, I agree it was not handled well. Um, yeah, I also like I didn't think about it, but when you all brought up Dreamfire, there should have been Dreamfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. I imagine the fallout will hit in the beginning of next season, like the fallout on Rhaenyra for Helena having done that, and then Alicent when she presumably comes back. I don't know if she's actually coming back to King's Landing, but like I imagine there will be fallout at some point. And also,
I'm sorry,
bit
Allison
of the
just
behind the
walking
episode.
from Harrenhal back to King's Landing by herself.
Yeah.
Carry on.
She found some people. She's camping with some random men, so she must have found like someone to protect her, which is weird. Like that is a weird thing that happened because she was unless like maybe in my head I'm thinking about it now. They must have sent a party to near Harrenhal,
Sure.
and then only 2 people went in. That's probably what happened realistically. If we're
That's
gonna
what you would
make
do,
this
yeah.
work. Yeah. But then also in the behind the scenes, they did say that like, yeah, when Alicent sees those bugs fly up, she like feels that something horrible has happened. She feels the disturbance in the force. Like she knows, as Nettles said, that yeah, oh shoot, this is bad.
So
I'm
I
glad
think
you
when you
said
look at
more.
Helena's experience, you have to run it all together. So not only was one of her children murdered, her other child was taken. Then Helena, or her mom, tried to deceive her to get her to leave her child and to drink the moon tea. And then on top of being imprisoned and alone at this point, she sees Rhaenyra for who she is and understands that she's only ever going to be a prisoner and a pawn. We're supposed to understand that when Mysaria tells her, you'll never leave, you'll always be a prisoner, that is correct. That Helena believes that, and that's more or less correct. And then the final thing I'll mention is that Helena sees the future. And so she probably has a pretty good idea about how this is going to go. And then the other thing, Michael, in your video, you talked about her seeing these other future possibilities in the dreams last week. In the one where she has both her kids and she's raising chickens, the long night still comes. And I think that was meant to tell us that, like, that wasn't her destiny, right?
That's what I was just going to bring up was that, yeah, like, I think she has seen all possible futures in her dreams, and she realizes in one future her baby's getting taken away, and another one she's going to have to give in to her worst impulses and try and escape on her dragon and kill people. And then if she does get her ideal happy life, it will throw off the timeline. Like, we've talked about that a lot, but, like, the timeline is in some ways it seems being manipulated by the old gods and prophecy and magical forces, and she as a dragon dreamer is very aware that like, oh, like she straight up appeared to Daemon and is like, this is a story, you know your part in it, like you have to play your part. And that last dream is her kind of accepting that if she doesn't play her part, if she gets what she wants, the world is going to end because everything will be thrown off. And yeah, I think that was one of the things that pushed her in this direction, and she's probably been doing the embroidery since then. And then, like, this is the final straws was what we saw today.
And I think it makes for a good contrast between all these other characters who are willing to do unspeakable things to get what they want, you know, and to get their own safety and power and stuff. She's not willing to do that. Yeah.
There's also a good merging of the narrative esoteric where we're looking at, you know, things like being able to see the future or, you know, talk to people through the werewood net, whatever. And the symbolic in the idea that she embroidered it, because it's pretty, it's very similar to sewing. The implication is the same. And there are almost no mythologies across the world that do not have some form of the fates sewing in like the future into existence. So when we talk about, you know, her, like she knows that the future is coming, does she actually have the power to change it? Does she have kind of choices before her? It almost doesn't matter. Like the future, she weaved it and it exists. And so that's what we saw.
Yep, I think that is well said.
Yeah, really nice points.
Roderick Dustin looked like Knight's King. Not everybody can be Knight's King. But yeah, no, he's from Barrowton. Knight's King potentially was, from Dustin or a Barrow King. That's there's an association. No, it's Knight's Queen. Excuse me, it's Knight's Queen that might be from House Dustin, Barrow Queen, Corpse Queen, that kind of thing. But
Dave,
yeah,
also did a
MVP.
really
We
good-
talked about Roddy. Does anybody have anything else to say about Roddy?
He did a really good Werewood Stigmata.
Oh,
So you have the breaking of the arm of Dorn. He got his arm cut off. It was kind of with his arm, but he like spits blood into what's his name's face. He does have blood coming out of his mouth when he dies. So yeah, he goes through the full gamut of the Werewood Stigmata, and then he gets nuked by fire while he's laughing. It was pretty epic. Pretty epic.
It
way
was,
to go
yeah.
out.
I mean, anytime you get your arm cut off and then are still in the fight, that's pretty metal.
I did make one note about him. Maybe the line of the episode when he's like, "Gates open, then die." Got it.
Yeah, that whole thing was really funny. A lot funnier than just the one-liner in the preview led on. Like, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
My sorry,
And
going
then
to be
they're
the
all
shepherd.
mad. They're like, oh, I was just gonna say. Then they're all mad when they realize the gates are open and they're still alive. And like he says, the gates open, we're still alive, and all the other Northmen like groan like disappointedly. That was also pretty good.
Oh man, I guess we'll go get Ormond then. Let's go kill him then.
Yeah.
Bonus kill. We'll maybe come back to this in the spoiler section, James.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts would probably be no, but it's worth discussing, so we'll come back to that.
I do have a Massaria question that was piggybacking off of our previous Helena discussion. Do you guys think that Massaria was trying to help Helena when she said that to her? Or do you think she knew the words to purposely get Helena to off herself as kind of payback to Rhaenyra? Because I think
Good
Massaria
question.
is very offended with what Rhaenyra did.
Yeah.
Very, like, way more. And so now we might see her become competent. Maybe her first act was to take Helena off the board. Because she knows, like, what do you think?
Well, so there was that moment, like the only real interaction she's had with Alicent and Helena. Alicent made the pitch to her, like, "Hey, Rhaenyra is not trustworthy. Are you really going to trust her whims with everything? You would be in the favor of House Hightower if you helped us right now." So I think she may have genuinely been trying to help Helena in the hopes that if Rhaenyra does lose, she'll remember this. Like, "Hey, I told you your husband," because she says that her husband is alive. Like, that is something that may have, like, in theory, given a wife, like, a reason to live and keep fighting and maybe try to escape. Like, there are a lot of things that could have, in theory, given Helena hope in a different context. And, like, yeah, it is, like, it is probably, I think, a genuine attempt to be like, "Hey, don't trust Rhaenyra, look out for yourself, and maybe down the road this will pay off for me, Massaria."
Maynard James Plum out there in the ether. Let's do a poll. Were her intentions straightforward or deceptive with Helena there? I think I agree with you, Michael, that she was genuine. But I also think it's possible that she wasn't, and that we should always consider that with Mysaria.
I think the key part of what you were saying is that she has taken care to be cool with both sides. Like she never told Rhaenyra anything about that, about how she helped Alicent and Helena.
Mm-hmm.
She kept that on the down low in case the High Towers later came on top. So she was never fully on Team Rhaenyra. She was always on her own team. And maybe she has or had the interests of some of the small folk in mind for a while. But even then, she's a survivor first. And she was always planning a way to come out on top. So I don't have any trust that she was doing it out of pure benevolence. But it is possible that she sees Helena.
The question is, was she trying to make Helena kill herself, or was she trying to warn her? Or
That-
well, I wouldn't
that's-
use the word benevolence around my sorry. I'm just saying, like, was it a genuine warning, or was she trying to destabilize her?
Yeah, was it a self-serving warning to help Helena or a self-serving like warning to harm Helena and harm the stability of everything? Both of them benefit Missaria in theory.
I think it was a warning, but I wouldn't swear to it. I wouldn't bet money on it if I was at the casino.
No, I mean, if I was the Mistress of Whispers and I was trying to help Helena, I'd say, like, on the hall, the second bathroom to the left is a trap door. If you keep left, you can get out of here. As the Mistress of Whispers, I should know at least 3 secret tunnels. You don't have to know all of Magor's tunnels.
She only had a second, though. They were sort of dragging her away.
She said a lot. She said a false call and 7 years ago. No, she said a lot of stuff.
It was wild how much she said. It was wild. Like, I'm just gonna say as much treason as I can while these guards and this King's Guard drag me off. They won't do anything. It's fine.
Yeah, the guards were all around.
Derek Jeter gift basket. When he had a one-night stand with people, he would send them a gift basket when in the hotel and dip out. That's exactly how they handled it.
No.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is that they arrested Mysaria as not arrest. Well, they basically took her into custody as she was fired, so she didn't have a time to make any arrangements. Now that she's escaped, she can make arrangements and do things. But yeah, that was the only thing she could do, was to say whatever she was going to say in that moment there.
Yeah, but I hate to
that
say
is
it.
corporate policy. Like that's an actual thing. If you get fired and you work for a company, like they will send somebody to escort you off the premises, like a security guard.
It's happened to me. Yeah. I hate to say it though. Hey, I can't keep.
Who do you work for? Did you sign an NDA, or can you tell us?
Oh, I worked for the state government.
Oh, serious. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the
always
last
late,
people
guys.
you want to be escorted out by.
No, I will say, I hate to say it, but Massaria really has to be really bad in bed, because we saw season 1, she couldn't help Damon out at all. Damon was just like, listen, a noodle. And then now, right after with Rhaenyra, she gets fired. Like, that's a really bad cookie game, Massaria.
So I want to
She's not
commend
good
you.
at any job. Like, you're not good at being a sex worker, and you're not good at being Mistress of Whispers. Not good at being a mother. There's so many jobs she just fails at.
Go ahead, Michael.
Can you imagine being on the brink of being fired, successfully seducing your boss, and then getting fired the next day anyway? Like,
Yeah, that's
gotta
brutal.
hurt.
Like,
And
also, she's not going to talk to HR about this.
HR is who? Orwell. This reminded me of, in the Game of Thrones, Daenerys and Dario. How Daenerys dismissed Dario, but at least Daenerys did it in person. Daenerys drove to your house, on your couch, told you why. Rhaenyra sent a text like, it's over. Rhaenyra didn't give you the courtesy of a phone
She
call.
sent
no
the
nothing.
text and she blocked immediately after, which is
Blocked.
sometimes what you have to do. So
Well, she did it with like, thank you for your service, with warmest regards, peace.
well, so Nettles, I want to congratulate you. You've been on this block for weeks that Mysaria is bad at her job, and about last week, all of Twitter caught up to you, and everyone was like, Mysaria is really bad at her job. And I was like, yeah, Nettles been saying that.
Yeah, she's terrible at it, and it's
But
also
I
just
have
funny
a-
because like she's. Go ahead.
No, it's also just funny because. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Because their name's the White Worm, which is like a grave worm, and like, just saying, like, if she's bad in bed, that's dead fish energy.
I'm with you there.
So our poll is at 66% trying to warn her, 34% trying to trigger her. And that's about how I'd put it, like, as far as my percentages about what I think. I mean, it's probably trying to warn her, but you can't ever be sure with Mysaria. So
It could also be both.
it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Y'all
Whatever
agree.
happens,
Yeah, I'm
happens.
sure she did know. Like, I'm sure she did know, like, what she's saying is truthful, but it will also destabilize everything that Helena knows this. So, like, I don't know that she thought she would jump out a window, but I did think she was undermining Rhaenyra, and she knew that. And that was probably why she did it.
Yes, she was undermining Rhaenyra just by putting that information in Helena's head. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I
The
think if
warning was
Elena had
obvious.
survived, though, you could have seen Mysaria continue to try to ingratiate herself with the Greens by rescuing her or something like that. Like that would have been on the table, and that's just what we expect from Mysaria, is essentially trying to be in favor with whoever's in power. So
Yeah,
moving
she's gonna
along,
team
Freak
swap.
Valley, thank you. Strat X9, I feel like the season of bad Rhaenyra decisions came to a head this episode. Writers definitely made her put to be cruel and incompetent. You know, I won't disagree with that.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Rhaenyra a lot. I don't think I want to dive back into that debate at this moment. But yeah. Yup. This season made up for last season for me. It wasn't perfect, but I really enjoyed it all. I did think this was better than last season. I don't know how much of that is just the 2 episodes being chopped or whatever. This season was, to me, it was a lot like last season, whereas like some episodes I really liked, other ones made me go, I'm not really sure what they're doing. Like I'm mostly bought in, but sometimes rolling my eyes. You guys, how do you feel about it in general?
Way better than season 2. Season 2 was slop.
I liked season 2 for the most part, other than the ending being cut off. Like, I thought that was the main problem with season 2, is that it was all build up to a climax that we had to wait 2 years for. So now, like, yeah, considering this had the climax of season 2, and then also was essentially then a shortened season, so there was less like slow episodes before we get the climax of this season. Like, definitely better than season 2. And I do think, and this might be another video topic, is I think it did fix a lot of the problems of season 2. The only remaining problem is, again, now we have to wait 2 more years for this. Why are they not filming the next season already, guys? But
well,
that's
and
my main
Alan
complaint I have
Oakenfist, the Septon Slayer. But yeah, I mostly agree with that, Sean. And let me, before I give you the mic, Sean, chat, go ahead and give me your number rating for this season, 1 out of 10. Just flood the chat, and then we'll be able to see kind of which way the wind is blowing. I can't do a poll because I've only got 4 options on a poll, but just give me 1 through 10. What do you think it was? And Sean, what was your opinion on the season as a whole? I'm afraid to ask, but I'm asking.
Well, I try to be more positive than I'm feeling. The acting is fantastic. Sets are great. And the fact is I never thought that we would get an adaptation of this. So it is cool to see these characters on screen. And some of them I love. You know, this episode with Roddy the Ruin, it was fantastic. I love the actor. I've always loved that actor. And it was great to see him. He did a great job embodying the character from the books. What I will say is that I am offended in the last, not just this season, but last season, at how much they've dumbed down the show and the plot in order to appeal to a larger audience. Season 1 was smart, just like the first 3 to 4 seasons of Game of Thrones was smart. And then they dumbed it down to appeal to a larger audience of people who are watching it with their phones in their hands.
I think a lot of people are agreeing with you, Sean, and I feel myself nodding my head as you say. I'm generally positive. Like, I want to like the shows. They're just shows. They're meant to be fun. I take the books more seriously than I do the shows. That's not a secret. But I think you're right, Sean, that the first season was on a different level than the last 2 have been. That's been my feeling from the beginning. Yeah, season 1 was like, I mean, I would put that at like a 9 out of 10 or something. I thought season 1 was really good. And this is more in the 7 territory. You guys have seen the numbers rolling through. It's a lot of 6 to 9 range with a few outliers, a lot of 7s, you know, so a lot of 8s.
7s.
Yeah. There's just a lot of relying on things like somebody said it in the chat, miscommunication trope, rather than, you know, like people genuinely going for it, even being like, nobody can be purely evil, right? Like, everybody has a reason. There's nobody they're just ambition makes them do evil things. There's always a reason. Mommy was mean to me, whatever. So it's like, there are those things. There are things like people showing up in war camps without being apprehended by guards. They just stroll into the middle of it and say hi to the Lord. And it's just like,
it's a lot of sneaking up on war camps this season.
Yeah, that's weird. The idea of like, transportation doesn't matter. Like, transportation time doesn't matter when it's not convenient for the plot. people just teleport to different places.
I'm less worried about that. Some of that can just be waved away by, time. We don't need to see everyone on a horse, but sometimes they do a better job of spacing it out for a couple episodes, so it feels like they're traveling, and sometimes it feels like teleporting, and it breaks your immersion. Yeah. So I get that.
Like that's the example I give is you look at like in the first season of Game of Thrones, it took a couple episodes for Catelyn Stark to make it down to King's Landing when she wanted to warn Ned about Lannisters, right?
Right.
And then now we have like, oh, okay, in the next scene, I'm going to be moving from King's Landing to Harrenhal in time to have a conversation. And it's just, there's no travel time. It's not immediate. It is a shorter trip, but things are happening and the pacing seems off because of it. And if it takes you out of your willing suspension of disbelief, if it feels weird, then you've felt the hand of the writer, and that's problematic.
Yeah, my producer's in the chat saying Sunfire in Harrenhal is a little ridiculous. That's probably true, given that Sunfire's wing is broken. If Sunfire's normally a dragon can fly, around southern Westeros in a couple hours or so, certainly inside of a day. But they haven't shown us just how injured he is. But yeah, I feel you. I understand. It's a lot of showing up out of nowhere. Michael, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we have to assume that Sunfire can fly decently enough at this point, like just based on the one scene we got. He did stick the landing well enough. It wasn't super graceful, but he landed where he wanted to. Aegon didn't like go flying off when he landed, so like good enough.
Yeah, there's the other criticism that I've seen in the chat and online is that like there's just a lack of likable, competent characters. Like the characters either seem to be mostly innocent or good but incompetent, or they're evil and competent, and there's not a lot of just like people to really cheer for. Some of that is in the choice of the adaptation though too. Like they chose to adapt this story Fire and Blood. George wrote this part of Fire and Blood, the dance, as like this great downfall where the people alive at that time all turned against each other and were greedy and self-interested, and it brought around a lot of chaos. So it wasn't ever going to be a story with a lot of likable people, but they didn't really create extra likable people that much. I mean, there's here and there's a little bit, but I get that criticism.
There was also the criticism though that they were making Rhaenyra too likable, and then this season, once she actually gets power, that's all undone. And I think in hindsight, we can clearly see what they were sort of setting up is they were sort of removing her crueler acts until she takes the throne, at which point the things that power is making her do turn her into a worse person. But like you said, this is a familial civil war in which like you're not going to have great people in that case when you're trying to like kill your brothers and sisters with dragons and fight for power between them. Like you don't end up in those situations if you're a super awesome great person.
Yeah, no one stopped the war.
What I will say is that there are instances of it being possible. Like in season 1, one of the characters people loved the most and were really sad to see go because he was a good and competent person, just like you were talking about, David, was Strong. He became Hand of the King. I forget his first name, but Larys's father, right?
Lionel.
He was very well liked. He was competent. He had enough courage to tell Viserys the truth to his face, and he wasn't overcome with ambition to the point where he wasn't pushing his family forward when he could as Hand. He was a very good character. And there are characters like that all the time. We even got
Oscar.
Corlys
People are speaking up for Oscar Tully.
Yeah, Oscar Tully's great. Corlys Velaryon got his Ned Stark scene where he's imprisoned talking about how he's not going to trade honor for his life. He was doing the Ned Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is
a good lad.
I was going to say, Corlys didn't really fit because we've seen him be so ambitious throughout the entire show where the only thing he's thinking is the elevation of his family. And even more recently, he's just been fighting because he's been pissed off that Rhaenyra wouldn't legitimize his son, which she should have done. But again, that's just, I'm trying to push my family forward. That's ambition. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, it's my honor that's the most important.
Well, we should probably note that now he has a secure successor. He's confident in Alan. He knows that Alan will take up the banner and the good name. And Alan is right when he says Corlys would appraise Velaryon honor higher than his own life. Like, we know that is true. So I think that's maybe what allows Corlys to be less desperate in that situation. But you're right, that was totally a Ned Stark moment. Yeah. He cut his finger off.
I will say, because I saw it coming up from I think a member comment. This is something I've been waiting to bring up the whole time. Like, we have yet to talk about it because it was such a crazy episode, but we got the Alice Rivers reveal of who she is.
Yeah,
and she is apparently like the wife or lover of Harren the Black, cursed to live. Yeah.
So not necessarily Harren's lover. She said Harren's line doesn't die that easy. So she could have been the lover of one of his children or brothers or something, but it could have been Black Harren, and it was definitely someone in his family.
Well, and it makes me think she's legitimate. If she's talking about the line, if it's a bastard, that's not your line unless they get legitimized. It's kind of the same problem that Corlys is running into, that Alan can't be his heir unless a king or queen legitimizes him. So it's like,
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's true.
What do you mean?
Is that?
I think they would. Yeah. Well, I think like they would consider themselves part of their line in the same way like the Blackfires, if they killed all the Targaryens, would consider themselves the line of Aegon the Conqueror.
No, you're
like,
right. When they dig a cousin or a
think
bastard out of the bushes, they slap the house name on them. You're right, Sean. Yeah.
And they if the line had survived, they probably would have found a way to legitimize them to keep the hand, because that's what they do. You know, the noble caste essentially watches out for each other. So it's, you know.
I imagine she could be Alice Rivers and have been taken as a salt wife, and then her child could be a legitimate member of Harren's line, you know, and then her child dies, I guess, is the implication.
There was something in her speech where she says she lost her name and title. So I think she could have taken up the name Alice Rivers, because she's confined to the land of the River Kings, you know, cursed. Because she went to the Green Men or the creatures in the forest and tried to make a deal with the devil to save her son. It didn't work, but she ended up cursed out of it. She says actually cursed for supporting Black Harren, essentially.
Yeah. I think it's a combo of both. Like, she went to the Green Men, tried to seek their favor, and they're like, you want us to help you with Harren the Black, who's chopped down these weirwoods and killed so many people to mortar his stone with blood? Like, okay, we'll give you what you want, but it's going to be a monkey's paw situation where it's not going to work the way you want it to.
Right. Not only was she's making dark deals to save her son, and trying to save her son is trying to keep Harren's line alive. And Harren's line had been judged. You know, like a lot of people have noticed, Harrenhal was completed the day the Targaryens landed in Westeros. So some people have wondered if maybe the abomination, you know, of cutting down all those weirwood trees to make Harrenhal and enslaving the Riverlanders did the Children of the Forest summon the Targaryens, you know, or something like that.
You want to talk about a Lady Macbeth storyline?
What do you guys think was Alice's maiden name then?
Who knows?
You think she was like a Blackwood or something, or someone from the Iron Islands, maybe?
Well, she could have been a salt wife, honestly. I think that's probably a good guess.
Or rock, hard to say.
I assume a salt wife taken when they conquered the Riverlands, and she was probably from that area on the shore of the God's Eye. And then, either Harren or one of his sons, when they conquer the area, takes her as a salt wife. But then I assume, like, children with your salt wives are considered legitimate members of your line, but I don't know for sure, but I think so.
So this is a great question from Willen here. How does this affect our assessment of her motivations? She's been trying to seduce Daemon, and now more so Aemon. She's really locking on to Aemon. Well, she was trying to get Harrenhal from Daemon, and Daemon denied her. Now she's seducing Aemon to have a new child and hatch a dragon. Like, what is she trying to do?
I think if she's stuck in this life, she just wants to be as powerful as possible now, is how I read her. And then it makes sense of the line of the gods will turn their back on us, which didn't make sense before, when it seemed like she was working more hand in hand with the Green Men, which is also kind of weird, because, like, now how much is she working with them? Like, or does she just kind of know they're up to things, and she Like maybe with Damon, she was trying to like fulfill some bargain that she has with them to like bring about an end for her curse. I don't know. But like now she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna become as powerful as I possibly can. I'm gonna have dragon princes for sons and try hatch a dragon egg. Like, let the
It doesn't
gods
seem like she
curse me.
hates
I don't care.
dragons. Maybe it's like, oh, she respects the power of them because they burned Harrenhal or something like that.
She would have
But
done
she
something with those
should.
dragon eggs.
Right.
She should. It is puzzling because the way she tells her story, she has one tear falling. You guys, it's such a sad story. The way she tells that story, she should hate dragons. A dragon killed your son that you went to the ends of the earth trying to find a cure for, whatever, you know what I mean? So she should have a bad connotation with dragons, but she doesn't. Something has changed with her motivation.
Yeah, if you get beaten by dragons, you either hate dragons or you covet them, so that you have the same power that knocked you down. So it seems to be the
That's
second
kind of
one.
what it plays like to me. Like, she wants to have her own dragon. That's why she seduced the two dragon boys. That's how you protect yourself. You have dragon rider children. Now you're no longer vulnerable to drag, which is not how it works. But anyway, I think she told us what she wants. She wants Harrenhal. She used to be the lady of Harrenhal. Like, if she was, the lady of the air or the lady of Black Heron, she used to be the lady of Harrenhal, and she wants Harrenhal back. Like, she's had to hand it off to all of these people year after year and serve them when she used to rule it. That's kind of what she told us. She told Daemon that she wanted Harrenhal. He wouldn't do it. Not that he could. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, she's been pretty clear about what she wants. Why she wants it is a different story.
So
Another
we talked
question.
about, just real quick, Magnificent, we talked about the dragon's eggs last time and the whole Rhaena thing. Like, it's a cool way to retcon eggs at Harrenhal. It makes sense. And in the books, there is a possibility that she has hatched a dragon for her son that she had with Aemond, which would stipulate that there would have had to have been dragon's eggs there. So I think the show is just filling in the blanks with the most logical solution, which is, yeah, Rhaena and Dreamfire lived there for 2 decades. So that kind of makes sense. Now, as far as Alice and Aemon's potential child, we don't know. And that's, this is not even a spoiler because it's obvious that they have been trying to conceive. They did conceive in the books, but this Fire and Blood leaves off and we don't know what happens. So did Alice go on to be someone else? Did her son become a Went? Like, there's make your own theory. It's any of that's possible. We just don't know. So let me go back.
Wait, Sean, what were you saying?
What's up?
Sean, what were you saying before? So,
About her wanting Harrenhal
About Macbeth?
and the dragon rider child.
No, we can move forward.
I was laughing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too. Like,
part
part of her motivation might be she lost her son to dragons. Now, because if she foresaw the return of the Targaryens, there maybe now she wants to, in some way, get her son back by having another son. But this time, he's going to be the one who has the dragon. Is maybe how she views it.
And we should also consider that she might hate the crap out of Aemond and purely be manipulating him and using him.
Yes.
She might resent him, and for the reason that dragons burned her family. I mean, Aemond burned someone else with dragon fire and is confessing it to Alice, and Alice is like, "Yeah, my son was burned with dragon fire, and everyone I know." So,
and did we hear that she said, like, implied that she can't leave the Riverlands because she said, "I'm cursed to stay
that's what she
in the
implied.
So if she can't leave the Riverlands, maybe she's been trying, like, every time she walks, there's like a literal, like, invisible barrier. What if she wants to see if she can fly a dragon? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like if
if they fly across the border, does she get pulled off by the electric fence, or does the dragon
No,
here's something
just
to think
fly high enough to go over the barrier. I mean,
so
the weirwood trees can only reach so high.
Probably don't overthink it. Go ahead, Sean.
The exact wording she said was the lands of the River Kings. So if her son is both a dragon rider and a River King, and they conquer, then the territory of the River Kings expands and maybe she's not locked in there.
Yeah.
But I
She
think
said River
the real
Kings of
noodle
old,
cooker
so
is...
I think it's probably like she's confined to the Riverlands, so she wants to rule the Riverlands.
Probably. I mean, mine was generously interpreting the legalese of the Werewood Net contract. But
yeah, let's table the force field. I think it's just a curse, you know.
No, I think the interesting part, and I know that Tim and Estella are going to run with this, is that if she's immortal and we never see her get killed at the end of the Dance of the Dragons, that makes Danelle Lothston a much more interesting character.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of mysteries at Harrenhal that she could connect to.
Is she Danelle Lothston?
Yeah, let's leave that for the during the week videos and stick with the episode here. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting choice. It does make us wonder if this is pure Hot Dragon canon, or is this a George thing that Alice Rivers was, you know, connected to Black Heron? It's kind of a cool story. I definitely like if there's a George version of that somewhere, it's probably pretty cool. So what do you think, Michael?
Yeah. It was interesting to me because, yeah, we haven't seen a curse like this directly. Like, we wouldn't know, like, the exact Weirwood mechanics behind it, but there is certainly that idea that I talk about a lot, of the idea that, like, the curse of Weirwood immortality doesn't seem like a great thing when you look at these husks that Bran finds deep below the ground that can just barely follow the torch with their eyes, and the one tries to talk but he can't, and like Bloodraven's clearly not in a great state. So like George is definitely, like, even if this isn't directly from George, it's fitting in with his theme of like, oh, an eternal life is a curse, not a blessing, even if you seek it out. Like the Undying don't seem very happy in the House of the Undying. They're just these like shades sat around a table forever. So yeah, it whether it's directly George's canon or not, it fits thematically.
So do you think Alice will she'll age at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of the interesting question in this.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it. I didn't say it because like someone else was talking, but like if she has a dragon at some point, would she attempt to like burn the Isle of Faces to free herself from the curse? Like if she gets her hands on a dragon, does she try go against the Green Men and they take her out then? Like,
yeah, that's the part that's the foggiest to me. Is like she went and made deals with things in the woods, and now she's cursed, but she's also hanging out with the Green Men and helping Daemon do Weirwood therapy. I'm hoping that this is not just like the Green Men were spooky and so they put them in there and this isn't really thought out. But we can't know until we see the resolution of this plot line. And her story leaves off in Fire and Blood. So I really do want to table this. Like we could do a whole stream about what happens to Alice Rivers. Like I don't want to do that here. So we do have the poll running. Is Alice and Black Heron, is there a book canon? Is that going to be some version of that going to be book canon? It's 50-50 poll, so go ahead and get in there and vote. Curious to see what you guys think. And I have done a whole Alice River stream. We'll do another one too, I'm sure.
Yeah, now that we got the reveal, it's a whole new topic to cover, basically.
Mm-hmm. She's not Leaf though. We know that.
Yeah.
No.
She's not Child of the Forest, it would seem. So there goes. That was one thing that I had talked about that seems out the window now.
Yeah, super chat grieving for Helena.
I think we may have missed a super chat asking if like Daemon was now going to try caution Rhaenyra, like just the last one right before that Alice thing. Like if he's like one of the most recent ones that you hearted. If Daemon,
I'm working
now that
from
he's seen the
bottom
horrors,
up.
Yeah, if Daemon, now that he's seen the horrors of war, will he be like a more, like, instead of being like Rhaenyra, go, 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 will he now be like, hey, actually, we should show some caution? And I don't personally think so. Like, he's not going to turn into Kristen Cole, where he's like, oh, it turns out dragon combat is horrible, because, like, Daemon has seen it already.
No, it was failure, not sorrow. Like, he was looking around going, well, we made a botch of this. And not like, oh, those poor children.
Because he's been at war before and with dragons, with his dragon in the Stepstones. He's been at other battles besides this one, with and without his dragon. Like, I don't think he's all of a sudden going to become sensitive.
No.
It's just, yeah, I think the issue is more that, like, damn.
But was this the
went
first
poorly.
battle with children though? Was this the first battle that he saw? Like, I mean, Stepstones. I don't think there'd be any kids.
No.
Harrenhal. There was nothing where you had to. He's recently opened his heart to his daughter, so now he's thinking about children in a different way. No, now that I'm a mom, like now kids dying isn't so funny.
Nettles is like, no, look, if I can open my
She
heart,
says,
then it's
laughing.
possible for Damon.
No, but I'm just saying, like, we'll see.
You don't get
They've
as many
certainly
points for him.
opened that door to maybe he might be feeling something different.
Jezza Luis is piping up to complain about the women's writing on the show being so bad it's going to have trouble escaping the Danny ending. Well, this is the thing I've been talking about a lot this year. It's like they are heading into a brick wall, depending on how they pull off the Rhaenyra ending and stuff. We've already been somewhat critical today. I don't want to sit here and pick apart the writing. I hear you though. I'm not disagreeing with you. I do think there are some gender stuff that is affecting the characters. Like George Martin often is praised for treating his female characters like characters and not making their gender identity and sex like their whole character. Like, look at Brienne to Cersei to Sansa to Arya to Daenerys to Asha Greyjoy. Like, they've all got their own different motivations. He's not doing the same thing over and over. I don't know that the show is quite on that level of writing female characters, but that's a very big topic. Many think pieces will be made, I'm sure.
Right. Well, and it's not even just a feminism thing. Like, George is very good about treating his characters like he cares about them, but he does the same thing where he doesn't, Renly and Loras are gay characters, but they're not treated as one-dimensional
They're different.
gay objects. Like, they have more things going on with them. They're not defined by their sexuality.
Correct.
And
it's important, but it's not their whole thing.
Yeah, I will give the show a little bit of credit with, I don't think they did great with women this season, but they did treat Gwen like a whole human being and not just a gay stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As they treated Loras like a gay stereotype in the Game of Thrones show.
Gwen came out of nowhere to be one of the most likable characters. Like, I don't know that anyone saw that coming, except for the Gwen fans out there. But
his bond, where he's actually cares about Darren and he's trying to protect him, that's actually super well written. As much as I complain, I love that.
Felt very genuine. Yeah, liked it too.
The show gets really close. Like, even in this episode, if they would have just made one change, like instead of Rhaenyra force feeding Helena food, she could hold her down. And imagine if they're force feeding her moon tea. It's like taking that after the child, like after you're already pregnant, and then that's what makes Helena jump. It would make it seem more deserved, like Helena being sick or like seeing the blood run down her leg of like instantly losing that child, and then it would help with Rhaenyra characterization, because then we would really say she's awful and it wasn't an accident. It's a decision she made, and like this kind of feeds into it. This episode, some of Rhaenyra's wrongs were still kind of, I feel like they pulled their hand a little bit. Like, they're kind of going there, but then they kind of pull back a little bit. Like, they made sure she had to say, the realm is watching. Daemon, like, don't go too crazy, Daemon. Like, she's telling him this time. In past, you've gone too crazy. You did blood and cheese. She's checking him. She's saying this, okay, you can go do Tumbleton, like you've been asking, but don't go too crazy. So she's still not this evil, vindictive character, but that moon tea would have taken her there.
She's getting there.
And also, while we were talking about Gwaine, obviously, he has been a phenomenal character this season, and also I liked the meeting between him and Daemon. I don't quite understand logistically how he snuck Corlys out of the city without being noticed, but ignoring that, it was some really good payoff for the fact that, like, back in episode 1, Daemon tapped on his shield to joust and then cheated in the joust. Like, that was Gwaine that he takes the horse out from under him. So, like, these two characters have had a whole thing from the beginning, and then we get Daemon, like, choking out Gwaine as he's, like, please just make peace. Like, let's not do this right now. And he's like, you're Otto's kid. I remember you. Like, I'm imagining I'm choking your dad right now, dude. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, I
It's the
think I
exact.
think Gwaine is somebody were like, oh well, Gwaine didn't really stand up to Ormond that much. Like, not everybody is Daemon Targaryen. Gwaine has strength. He has a lot of character strength, but he's not confrontational. He always tries to reason with people. He did that with Kristen. He does it with Daeron. He does it with Ormond. That's how he approaches things. He's trying to be a peacemaker. So yeah, that's consistent with his characterization, I feel like. That was not Dark Sister next to Gwaine. They copied the Dark Sister hilt style for a lot of the generic swords, I've noticed. So it often looks like people are holding Dark Sister when they're not. Speaking of
Daemon
Catholicism,
is still slashing people with the sword at the end. Like, when he gets up, he's still got it.
Rhaenyra's He is Risen and Aegon's I'm Alive, Imbecile are the new meme templates for Easter.
That would be great. That would be great.
Nick Fandango, I'm gonna have to message you. I need a social media manager like you to make memes for me, so I can be popular like the other channels. No, I'm kidding.
That will be great though. Like, I'm alive, idiot, and it's just Jesus's face over superimposed. But did you guys see the like? I saw it posted a few different times on a subreddit that is known for spoilers. It was a AI image of Rhaenyra in her Visenya armor, like giving her speech, and then in the background, Helena's just falling. Like, the people thought it was real, like they thought that Helena was gonna throw herself from the window as Rhaenyra is giving the speech, and like it's a like comically hilarious still image of Helena just falling like head first, like swan diving to the ground behind Rhaenyra as she's trying to give this triumphant speech. And there were so many memes being posted. Like,
so this is why
it's not a real
image,
but
AI,
it is
Michael.
a good meme. Is what?
This is why AI is a terrible thing.
Oh no, this is why this is the perfect use for AI. This is the bread and butter of AI, is hilarious meme images that you can make anyway. Like, you couldn't make otherwise.
It's true. It is good for shit posting.
Fence it in for just that. But yeah, I was giving the Old Spice guy where he's like, I'm on a horse, swan dive. You know, that whole thing. That's old. I don't know how many people remember that.
Now I wish they did that. They could have made it sad. Like
Huge fan of the show. This is my homie Space Junkie. Let me read his super chat. Huge fan of the show, David. We had a chat about it, but the episode went a little different than I thought. But it was pretty solid. Just left me wanting a little more. Rhaenyra's scene was full blown crazy. I guess we look forward to season 2 of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Well, that's the nice thing, is at least we do have the shows alternating, and we get Rohan Weber and the Sworn Sword next season. So that's very exciting.
I have no notes for Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
I was talking with Space Junkie before the show about whether or not they would combine both Tumbletons, and I said no, they will probably stop, and that is what they did. They did not do any of the second Tumbleton material, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section. Love the Tool shirt. Finale a little disappointing. Yeah, I was stoked to see it. I was like, oh, do they have my size? This is a hot topic. 3 for the price of 4, some deal. Alice just casually told Aemond that she's hundreds of years old. Do you think she's telling the truth? Well, not hundreds. It would be almost 200, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, just 100 and change.
Yeah.
Right?
150.
Well, she would have been an adult by the time of the conquest, and it's now 130 AC, so more like probably 150.
Well, they've only had like 3.5 kings, right? One of them was Jaehaerys, so it was long. But well,
it's 130 AC. The conquest was in 1 AC, so it's been 130 years since the conquest, and Black Heron died, so she was pregnant already by that time. So she must have been in.
So she's around 150 then, yeah. You got it. Sorry, I'm caught
But
up.
I don't think she casually told Aemond. I mean, it was a pretty dramatic presentation. She turned away from the camera and she shed a little tear. And then she gave her little story. I mean, it was.
Tears of Lys, Alice's tears, Alyssa's tears.
You're on timeout. Alan and Orwell share a look during that. Yes, I'm the one who made a whole video about Al Ice Rivers, I guess. So, yeah. Alan and Orwell share a look during the speech. Oh, no, baby, what is you doing? I didn't catch that, but vibes. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. I caught Torrin Manderley had a very funny look on his face when she first brought up the prophecy and the threat to the north. He's kind of like looks around, and then they look at each other or a while, looks over. They're like, "What is she doing? Like, what is she talking about right now?" So yeah, I did make a note of that.
Yeah, Orwell's another one we're still trying to figure out exactly like what is his game. Closing out the poll here, we're slightly in favor of Alice Rivers having this some sort of Black Heron origin story, but it's 50-50, so that's interesting to see. Maybe George will just blurt it out in an interview. What do you make of the toxic butterflies? A stab at George? No, I don't think so. I think they've set up Helena's bug thing pretty well. So I thought that was a cute moment. I didn't think it was a George thing. Ray, force feeding Helena broke my heart. Yep, pretty upsetting. How about that Hightower guard kicking Damon's ass? Any idea who that was? Bold John Roxton, not just some Hightower guard. Tina,
they're talking about him like he was an extra.
I mean, he basically was Ormond's just like stand there and look tough guy. But he was tough. He got that part.
I thought also for a second they were going to give us Bold John versus Roddy, and then they didn't. He went after Ormond, and then we got Bold John versus Damon. So I
think that's good because Damon wasn't supposed to die, and they're keeping Roxton around, but now we know to fear him. Like, he's not just a dude with the sword, like, right. He knows how to use it. So he'll be useful for next season. Because they killed off Ormond. We need some villains and things. And nothing good is ever going to happen to Tumbleton ever again. So that's my mild spoiler for Tumbleton, too.
Just salt the earth.
Rhaenyra bleeding on the throne in the tapestry, it seems like a connection to Maegor the Cruel. Absolutely. And this is the whole symbolism of the Iron Throne as a throne of swords. The monarch is kind of like a sacrifice on the altar. And that's George's personification of the idea that the king belongs to the realm. Your personal life is no longer your own. So that's just like a literal personification of that. And yes, specifically, it evokes the death of Maegor the Cruel. Rhaenyra is called Rhaenyra the Cruel by some. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think then that maybe instead of it being that Helena's predicting how Rhaenyra dies, that instead she's just saying, you've become Maegor with teats?
Kinda. I think it's...
Or you will be, yeah.
I took it as symbolic. Michael, go ahead.
I took it as like, this quest for the throne is going to destroy you kind of vibes, yeah. But yeah, it definitely... It could also be like, hey, you're going to be compared to Maegor, because, yeah, she looked like Maegor there. So, yeah.
It's also just, if you look at the tapestry that she was embroidering, the Iron Throne is well made, but it looks like a tree. So she's essentially watering a tree. The swords are a lot wider than they would be normal. So it looks like a weirwood tree that she's watering with her blood.
Well, Sean, you're well familiar, obviously. Like, there's an intentional parallel between the Weirwood throne that consumes the body of the Greenseer and the Iron Throne that consumes the body of the king. So yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And if you sit on the sea stone chair, I don't think good things happen either, frankly. So real quick comment. Yeah, Jay insult. How about Rhaenyra trying to make her own nickname happen? That never works. Rhaenyra the Chosen. No, it does not work. You're just totally right about that.
Never works.
I do not like any of my nicknames.
Oh.
It's like the Kevin Durant not wanting to be called Durantula. But like, bro, that's a great nickname.
Slim Reaper? Slim Reaper was amazing, and he's like, nah.
I'm easy money sniper. He's got issues. Anyway. There's lots of YouTube videos about him.
There was an NFL running back for a while whose nickname was Muscle Hamster, and apparently he hated it because it was actually originally the nickname of his ex-girlfriend in college, which he also hated the nickname. So that's what I heard. I don't know if that part was true.
I know that player. Who is it?
Doug Martin, I think, was Muscle Hamster. He was this stocky, tough running back that was hard to tackle.
Oh, I never heard that nickname. I knew him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm from Oakland. He's from not far from there. I went out with him a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, nice.
The sports people in our chat are loving this. The rest of y'all are confused, but that's okay.
To get back on topic, I'll say the other interesting thing about the Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne thing is in the background there is fire and dragons and people dying. Like, that is probably pretty relevant to Rhaenyra too, specifically dragons dying behind her on the throne.
Somebody said Kobe named himself Black Mamba. Rhaenyra's no Kobe. Let's just put it that way.
Kobe can do that.
Kobe pulled it off, but all right, let's go to our next topic. I'm gonna kick this topic to you guys and run to the restroom really quick because I need to do that. And if any of y'all need to, we can. We've got a whole Brady bunch here, a whole Roddy bunch. I was loving everything Roddy the episode. Yeah, he kind of gets the MVP. Do we want to vote on MVP real quick? Let's do that. Who are our nominees? Certainly Roddy the Ruin.
Roddy. Alice, Helena, Rhaenyra.
The duo
of objectively
Darren
was the MVP of the battle. Like, he swung the battle by drunkenly falling asleep and then coming out and just burning both sides.
Bold John.
Bold John
he was giving the mountain.
He did try the mountain execution, yeah.
Alice Rivers.
Ulf's got to be on there.
Yeah. Ulf, at the very least, gets comeback player of the battle. He recovered from his hangover in time to lose the battle for both sides, so...
Caraxes.
All 12
yeah, see, I put
Aegon's
Caraxes over
hair.
Daemon.
Yeah.
Missaria? No, not Missaria.
So let's go with Maynard Plum. Let's go with Roddy the Ruin, Helena, Ulf. Do we just need those three? Do we need is there a fourth that's a realistic?
Bold John.
He's going to lose to Roddy the Ruin.
Gwaine trying to make peace and getting choked out.
I like the duo
standing
of
in front of
Darren.
Tessarion. Standing in front of Tessarion and being like, hey, if you even want to join this battle, you're going to have to kill me first. Like, that was also pretty badass of Gwaine.
What did you say, Sean?
I was saying, like, that, the duo of Gwaine and Darren, and he was giving me a lot of good reasons that it should really just be Gwaine, and I agree.
Okay, so let's go Gwaine as the fourth. So Helena, Roddy, Gwaine, and who was the other one?
Ulf.
I don't know. Nettles
Ulf.
got like
Helena,
5 of them.
Roddy, Gwaine, and Ulf. That's our poll.
Okay.
Daemon choking Gwaine was so hot. Well, I mean, there's things in the episode for everybody. You know, whatever you like.
I mean, they have represented
that enemies
nearly
to
every
lovers.
fetish.
We've got a lot of fetishes. There's Oedipus stuff and feet stuff and lots of various kinds of incest. There's strange love triangles. Yeah.
It's a great time to mention that if you love fetishes, you will find all of them in Greek mythology. Go watch them on my Patreon.
Check out Sean's Patreon for lots of deviant mythology. Yes.
Oh, God. That was terrible advertising I just did. It's
Sean,
not a
show
fetish.
your shirt. Show your shirt, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Yeah. My merch store is open.
Yeah, and then there was Roddy the Ruin's line as he shoved the knife into it looked like it went into his glute, you know, but he's a proper northern F word, you know.
I choose to imagine there's not even a knife hole there. And there's just use the one that was already there.
You can imagine whatever you want, Michael. No one's stopping you.
Michael.
That was the worst plug I've ever heard for one of the best channels. No, that was a great plug. That's what Sean's all about. Deviant mythology.
Who was wearing a plug?
Wow, Roddy.
A proper Fukin. Yeah. Fukin chickens.
Dang, y'all don't care about Ulf? That's crazy.
Well, let's talk about Ulf.
I mean,
I knew that Roddy was going to run away with this, and he is running away.
Yeah. But let's get Ulf out of
let's talk about Ulf the White. He kind of turned on everyone. Like, not only did he roast the army of the Riverlanders and stuff, he also just started burning Tumbleton. He burned Ormond. He was just like, yeah, at FU2, at FU2. He was kind of like the guy throwing a tantrum and walking out on his job, you know, just like throwing middle fingers everywhere.
Yeah. Well, Ormond recruited him because he's like, Daemon struck you in the streets in front of everyone for being a drunk. I would never do that. And then he strikes him in the streets in front of everyone for being a drunk, and he's just like, you know what? actually, I'm gonna just burn all of you, and that makes complete sense. Like
Yeah.
it fully tracks.
But we
I
see
think
why
I was
Ormond was mad. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, in the end, it's like you look at Daron, saying Ormond's mad plan, Ormond's mad plan. Like he was right. Like Ormond, this basically was a dead end cause, and he was magic thinking his way into like, nah, we've still got a way to resist their cursed foul dragon spawn, and we are the righteous Hightowers. And he basically pinned it all on Ulf. And newsflash, you shouldn't count on Ulf. I loved how the whole episode, like, where's Ulf? I need Ulf the Dragon Rider. Both sides are like, where is he? And it's like,
Yeah.
I love that. That was great. That was perfect. And then he finally shows up, and then just, after getting provoked by Ormond, he was sleeping on the toilet with his pants down. Like,
I was
And
about
the
to
Lord
say,
of Hightower. Oh, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
think of the stench on Ulf. Like he's sleeping, so he's done number 2, he's done number 3, and then he probably threw up on himself. Like that level of drunk that you're sleeping on a porta potty.
did you say number
Like, I
3?
under-
What's number 3?
The watery number 2.
Oh.
If you
The
have to
watery
ask,
version.
you can't afford it.
I'm just saying, like, it's one thing to fall asleep at home on your toilet, but in a porta potty, that means you are so drunk. Like
No,
you've done, and
that's
then
from Tywin Lannister.
and yeah, seriously. And then that's how Ormond found him. Like the worst stenches that your nose could smell, that's what Ormond was assaulted with when he found Ulf.
They came up a few
metaphor-
times. So there was the smell there, and then it was also when the blood got sprayed in his face
Blood.
too. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they made
Also, I will
use
push
out
back-
of his phobia. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I'll push back on the idea that falling asleep on your home toilet is better. I feel like more people fall asleep on a bar toilet than anywhere. I mean, I can't imagine why you would fall asleep on your home toilet, but I can understand people falling asleep at the bar toilet. Like I have
Dave,
never,
let's
but
do a
I
poll.
can
Let's do a
understand
poll
how you
on
get
that.
there. What's that?
So let's do a poll on this.
But
Yeah.
also I hate that I'm this person, but the worse that Ulf gets, the more I start to like him. I like him more and more every episode.
Well, we
This-
like characters who make sense and are consistent and like feel real. And Ulf's
Yeah.
characterization has been consistent and
Yeah.
understandable. So
He's also just, the acting is fantastic. There is a degenerate charisma coming from that character. It's anytime a character is well acted, you like it. They don't have to be a good guy. How many of us have rooted for people like, Varys or like,
Littlefinger.
You can be, you can be so many people. You can look forward to their scenes and love every scene they're in. Cersei in the books is hilarious. It doesn't mean that they're, doing the right thing or they're good characters or even smart characters.
And I like that
Yeah.
Ormond name dropped Ulf the Sot. Because in the book, I was like, why does he get so many nicknames? Ulf the White, Ulf the Salt, the Sot. But this is why. Look at all these individual moments
Yeah.
where, and his helmet being like the white. Did you guys
Yeah.
notice that
mhm.
Yeah.
Ulf's helmet?
He got his style. He found his style.
Yeah, Ulf is somebody compared him to, oh god, where was it? He's kind of failing upwards, and he's not sure why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know why he has a dragon. Like, if the way to get a dragon is to be deemed worthy, like, explain Ulf. Like, I just love the symbolism of him that, like, you can be like worse POS human and still get a dragon.
Yeah.
There's a lid for every pot.
Silverwing was just like, I can sense that my husband just took a new rider. I want one too, so we can go on adventures together. Like, I'll take the first
Yeah.
one that shows up and falls over in my pile of dragon goo.
Yeah, didn't want to be separated. And those two are hilariously, they're the Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon of our series. Robert Baratheon, famous for wielding a hammer. We have Hugh the Hammer. And then we have Ulf, which means wolf. And, that's Germanic languages. It just means wolf. So we have, our Ned Stark wolf character, except this time he's the drunk instead of Robert. And they're just a mess in the middle of this. They weren't born noble like in our time. And it's going terribly.
So Ulf is like Milton from Office Space. They didn't get a piece of cake, except for he has a dragon. So yeah, I like that. I like that.
Set the building on fire.
Last time I didn't get a dragon. I didn't get a Targaryen last name, and
Dave, I'm gonna usurp your restroom card.
Okay.
You waited too long to cash it in.
I did. It's hard.
Well,
Yep.
You knew she was going to be a usurper with that silver blonde Targaryen hair over there.
Well, it's like when you try to take a lunch break at work, and then it's like, "Are you going on your lunch?" Like, "Yeah, just a minute." Like, "No, you're not. I'm going on my lunch."
Yeah.
With one more season over now, I'm reminded that nothing hits like a season of Song of Ice and Fire adaptation, with your streams close second, of course. Well, yeah, like we all have our criticisms and stuff, but it's cool that they're making these shows for sure. That's why I try to enjoy them, as a baseline. To be honest, the religious stuff is just female Rhaegar. Rhaenyra being a spoiled princess is plotline that could have been explored. Yeah, they didn't go with Rhaenyra being spoiled. Like in the book, she eats cakes while people in King's Landing are suffering, and they didn't do that. I don't really miss that, frankly. But you're right. She's in the same torture chamber as Rhaegar, absolutely. And this is what I was saying about the whole family. Go ahead, Michael.
The early Millie Alcock Rhaenyra did have a little bit of that energy. Like there was a time where when they're at Aegon's birthday party, and like was it Lady Redwine, I think, was sort of shit talking Viserys, being like, "Well, he's got us into war in the Stepstones, whether he's willing to admit it or not." And she's just like, "And what have you done for the realm, Lady Redwine? Sat around and eaten cake all day?" Like we had a little bit of that sassy, spoiled Rhaenyra early on. I still wish they could have had like the confidence in the show to give us a full 10-episode season of young Rhaenyra and Alicent, a 10-episode season of later on, like rather than the halfway point cutoff. Because then they could have maybe explored some of that a little more.
Well, very next super chat. It's so sad in season 1, all Rhaenyra wanted to do was to eat cake and ride her dragon with Alicent. I hope these two get a few more scenes together. I'm sure they will get scenes together. That's one thing we can count on.
Yeah.
And a very generous super chat that I've been working my way towards from, they won't let me see the whole name, from Jay. Thank you, Jay. Oh, God. Okay. The dialogue in the series just isn't doing it for me. I miss George's. The action scenes are okay, but kind of underwhelming because they're too short. Hate how they can't write women being evil bad without the "he made me like this" stuff. Dragons are amazing, though, and so are y'all. So, yeah, we covered a lot of those criticisms. I don't really disagree. I think the dialogue actually... That's the one where I would say mostly I think there's a lot of good dialogue in this show. I do agree with Sean's earlier point that some of the concepts have been dumbed down and spelled out a bit. But there's some moments when the actors are given good lines to cook with, and they cook, and I'm like, yeah, speech. So
we do get the occasional George dialogue. Like they slip in some of the good book lines, and then they skip others, but.
Yeah, the Roddy the Ruin intro. We came to die for the Dragon Queen.
Yeah. Yep.
Then they made it a whole recurring bit where Damon's like, yeah, I'm going to send you to do something dangerous.
Yeah.
You still ready?
Yep. Gate open, then die.
Then die. It's like, so make sure he doesn't enter the room, leave the room. Yes, got it.
Yeah, like a Monty Python version of a Mr. Meeseeks.
You're genre blending there, Sean. Yeah, you're right, though. I know who Mises is. The Winter Wolves gave me big Marine Corps vibes, and it was dope. I thought the battle was great. Yeah, a little hoorah, little haka, little northern haka.
Yes, I did make note of that as well. It was awesome when they're hyping themselves up, and then he's like, send your arrows, and the guy actually gets shot right next to him. It's like, oh, I guess we're in range now. We better go.
And then they also skillfully cut over to the kids on the battlements. Shout out to the kiddo actors in this one, and they're like vomiting and pissing their legs, and they're like, oh, this is a real ass war. Yeah,
that was actually my note, is the direct cut from the warriors to the kid pissing himself. It's just like, yeah.
So sorry, the comment before the one you read, David, it said what happens to dragon dreamers when they die? And my first answer would be like, oh, I was going to be cheeky and say, oh, they become butterflies. But then I remember in Game of Thrones what happened when Bloodraven dies, and he became like a wisp of smoke. So then it got me thinking, like, what if like dreamers like they go out with like a symbol of like what they were known for. Like Blood Raven was blood of the dragon, so like the wisp of smoke, like the remnant of fire, but not actual fire because he didn't have an actual dragon.
Didn't he kind of turn into Ravens, the smoke or something? I don't really remember.
It was like a wisp of smoke, like this hazy black stuff.
Yeah, he was. So he
It's not a book
disappeared
thing; it's a show thing.
twice.
Huh?
Yeah.
And so it's fitting that Helena, her symbol was like butterflies. So it makes me think of like, what was Dany's calling card when she passed?
Yeah.
I think it's just a poetic moment. I don't think there's any magic going on there.
It does track in a certain way, though. Like, if you die, you go into the Weirwoods, and if the Weirwood hive mind inhabits your favorite animals or animals you've bonded with, like, Helena literally, like, when Varamir dies, he is like a wisp on the wind spiritually for a moment. So, like, yeah, if Helena jumps into all of the bugs in the realm,
You guys are gonna get me upset.
Like, that would track.
You're gonna make me upset talking like this. She's not in the butterflies. I have to gavel this.
I don't know. So I'll have to do some more research and come down one way or the other.
So while we were talking,
Ned is a pigeon, Helena's a butterfly.
Hey, look, if you want to make the Helena was a butterfly video instead of the prophecy video, that sounds like a really good idea, Michael. Sorry, I'm just trying to be funny. I don't care. I don't have strong feelings about butterflies.
Yeah.
Maynard Plum is funnier than me. He snuck in a poll while we were talking, and I had the super chats up on the screen. Toilet I am most likely to pass out on. Home toilet 66%, the bar 16%, filthy porta potty 11%, church 7%. I think the church toilet, I can see that. You sneak it, the sermon's running long, you can't hold it, you go to the restroom, the sermon is still running long, and you just pass out,
No, can't anymore. Those places are violent. People are getting stabbed up in churches. I'm passing out somewhere else.
Well, the point is, if you pass out on the toilet, Michael Talks About Stuff has sympathy for you.
I feel like if our viewing audience was like 80% college kids, the bar toilet would be much more likely, but people probably just use their home toilet the most.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, understandable.
My phone can charge from there.
Yeah.
It's got all the amenities, got a little micro fridge in the bathroom and
the heated seat.
Kept waiting for Aemond and Aegon to brother kiss. Yeah, why? Well, the cowards. These writers are cowards.
Cowards.
Psych, it's a dream. Yeah, no.
How many fetishes do we have left?
Only a few. Would love an episode on Helena's tapestries from beginning to end. That could be good for someone who wants to go over the show that much and figure that out. Yep. I'm sure
I wonder too, like, now that we've gotten like that really close-up look on her death, like when they do the intro for next season, is it going to be just straight up Helena's tapestry that's in the opening tapestry? Because like that's been a theory that she has been the one weaving the opening tapestry this whole time. And if they directly use that image in the tapestry, which I think they probably will, if I had to bet,
they should use the one with her falling from the castle in the they should.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I need to find a topic I can hand off so I can go to the freaking bathroom. I'm dying. Black Alley got a line. She did. That's not a discussion point. Joffrey wants his mom, but get the prince that was promised instead. This is like Jon and Ghost from Game of Thrones. Give him a darn hug already. Yeah, so we got Joffrey. Still no word of the other two kids. The whole season, we don't know. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, they haven't checked on the kids enough to notice that Rhaena wasn't with them until she starts screwing things up on her dragon. So, like, yeah, they're really not paying attention to those two.
Yeah, it's cool she remembered she has kids.
Yes.
I like that, right? No, I like that comment because they said, like, Joffrey wanted his mom, but got the prince as promised, and it just reminds me of the books when Bran says, like, I looked to my father, but he was wearing the face of the Lord. And, so we all know that, look, our parents wear many hats. And so that's sad.
Yeah.
Joffrey will never see the fun-loving, cake-eating Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
No, she died.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that Rhaenyra is probably gone with all of the trauma that she's gone through. She can never just want what she wanted again of just being free and eating her cake.
Yeah, that ship sailed for Pentos to go pick oranges with Incel McGee.
Yeah.
What was going on with that?
That was never an option. That was never.
No,
I,
it was not.
I did like the little line that they got in about Kristen Cole, like kind of playing on the insignificance of his death, even though they skipped the line about having no songs sung about it. Damon, as he's like, "Oh yeah, it's easy to forget about him. How did he die?" And they're like, "Not well.
Somebody,
Don't worry about it."
somebody just said
Badly.
Joffrey. Joffrey says, "Mom, where did I get my name?"
Yes, you're not Dad's boyfriend, actually, believe it or
Why'd you
not.
name me Joffrey?
Yeah, not even like a
Well,
Joff
what had
Saris or
happened was
something. Yeah, yeah.
Looks like I missed the joke. What happened?
We're laughing about where if Joffrey or you want to tell him, Nettles.
Someone in
It
the
was your
comments
joke.
said, Joffrey said, "Mom, where did I get my name?"
Can we talk about the prince that was promised instead? That's easier.
yes.
Go back to
Let's
sleep,
talk
kid.
more about Joffrey.
You almost felt a little bit. I was reminded of the scene with Cersei and Tommen when they're in the carriage. It's not anywhere, as upsetting as that, but like, remember, like Cersei is assessing Tommen, like he's weak, unlike Joffrey, and she's like, sit up straight, put your crown on straight. And it's like this mother who all of a sudden the third born kid is the heir. You haven't paid much attention to him, and you're kind of like, oh, by the way, you're supposed to be the crown prince. Like, what have we got to work with here? And then like they're disappointed. And it's like, it's a little bit like that. Like Joffrey looks kind of shell shocked. We know he was looking for his mother several times this season and she's too busy. And now that she's paying attention to him, she's like, by the way, there's this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You felt bad for the kid, certainly.
Yeah.
He had the look of like, you're telling me about end of the world prophecies. I'm 8. What am I supposed to do about this? Like, come on,
Well,
Mom.
Yeah,
I will
stage
get
mom vibes,
right on
exactly. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
I said, Mom, I will get right on that. It is kind of sad, and it's also just it's another vein that goes into these things when these important people are playing Game of Thrones. The children are neglected, and there's another vein where we talk about like using people like tools and then discarding them, and that's something you've talked about a lot, Dave, where the kids are tools. They are diplomatic tools that you marry off to create cement alliances and stuff like that. So it's just like, yeah, now that she is getting she's having her coronation. Now all of a sudden she's paying attention to her kid, and she's like, yeah, I got to pass on the Prince that was promised prophecy before I go back to ignoring you and dealing with finding a new master of whispers and disciplining Daemon for the most recent, overkill. And it's just
Right.
it's a little sad.
And I think we're making this point, but just to highlight it, not all of this is like Rhaenyra is a bad queen. Like a lot of this is meant to show us that it's difficult to be a warlord monarch, and you don't get to raise your children, and you don't get to be nice to people and stuff like that necessarily. Yeah.
Speaking of
power in the
neglected,
system destroys you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Which is the message of the throne. Right. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Nettles.
speaking of neglected kids, what did you guys think about Damon burning those 2 boys versus having to burn like a crowd? Like how that scene played out? What you think of Damon?
They should have moved.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
Yeah.
didn't. I think it was just a writing to show that, like, yeah, I mean, the war has to go forward, Like, he showed a little bit of restraint. He didn't just wrote, like, the kids are on the battlements. He didn't say, well, too bad, or we're going to burn them all. He waited until later in the battle when probably the kids weren't on the battlements anymore because everything's gone crazy. And then he cleared them of soldiers. But, yeah.
Yeah, he's got that little bit of humanity where he's just like, it's showing us that he's given pause, but also he's not actually going to not break down the gates just because these two kids won't move, which makes sense. And also, Caraxie's neck breaking through that door was absolutely amazing.
It
Like,
was.
that's my takeaway from the kids who didn't move out of the gate is like, damn, Caraxie's looked cool.
I
And
think
also,
it's,
let's
it's
not forget who put them. Like Ormond is the most evil person in this
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's white stag in the headlights here. I think the kids were just too terrified to do anything. Like it's
Probably.
not, you're an 8-year-old. You're not thinking like, oh, hey, this lord has put me out as a human shield. I better do a good job, or I'm going to defend my city. Like that's not what's going on. They're terrified. These kids were, pissing themselves, and now they're standing in front of a giant dragon screaming at them. That's terrifying.
They got
Yeah.
straight up pushed out and locked out of the gate too. Like
Yeah.
they were,
Yeah. But they should have moved. If you're scared, follow the crowd. Just go that way.
Yeah. No, obviously
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
being glib, but
No, I would have broken sprinting records getting out of there.
no, I'm just saying they
But,
should have moved. That would have been better than not
Yeah.
moving.
What were
I'm
they
actually-
even thinking? What were they thinking? Like, I have to listen to Ormond and stand right here. And like, no, go.
I will say they
not
did-
really- I'm gonna say
Oh,
I'm not upset
go
at
ahead.
Damon killing the kids. I was upset at Roddy the Ruin killing that kid.
I was too.
He
Yeah.
didn't realize it was a
That was-
kid until
They looked
until
right
after
at
he
him.
snapped.
Smacks him harmlessly on the back of the leg, and I was like, what is Roddy gonna do here? And then just axe to the face.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I thought
Like-
he looked at him after he hit, but you're right. He looked at him first and then hit. Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like it's showing us that like, hey, it's not necessary just because we're rooting for Roddy the Ruin and he's cool doesn't mean he's a good dude or anything. Like, you see how it is. Like as soon as kids hit puberty, they're like, I'm a man grown. It's like, oh, you're a man grown. Okay, here's an axe. Boom.
Smoke this pack
He
of
is-
cigarettes.
Let me ask
He
you a
is here
question.
to kill as many people as he can and then die. He's not like a paragon of virtue or anything. And also, I
Yeah.
will say, I just pulled up the scene on my second monitor here. One of those two kids may have made it. They run after Damon says Dracarys, and one of them might have gotten out of the way. Probably not, but one of them definitely got roasted. So,
Second kid, yeah.
if he
good
waited
for
2
him.
more seconds, they'd have been out of there.
Yeah. But they could have made the decision where like none of the kids moved and Damon had to really wrestle with that.
Yeah, I thought it was just showing us that, like, yeah, Ormond is not honorable, and it's also just, again, making sure we don't forget that there are innocent people caught in the, not that we could, but this might be an example, Sean, of use, like, where they're dumbing it down and making it, like, really obvious. It's like, the innocent people are suffering. Look, there's children right there. But,
And then Kat died off screen. That's fine.
who?
Kat.
Oh, yeah, Cat.
Yeah.
That
That's
who was
fine,
so
you said.
apropos. That who was so apropos.
We hardly knew you.
As long as it
Cat.
wasn't one of the Red Keep cats, we're fine.
And we'll come back to Hugh and Kat in the spoiler section to talk about how this is going to shape things going forward. Briga's critique of the season is Rain and Nettles plot. I always forget about her and Sheep Stealer until they come on screen. Wasted plot line for sure. I said last week, but I feel like it's some weeks I buy it and some weeks I don't. It's had its moments. I understand the,
Yeah.
she basically, she suit boarded her.
Yep.
That was
Should've
That is
ate.
what I wrote in my notes. Stew boarded.
Stu boarded,
The kids should have moved.
soup for
Helena
you.
should have ate.
Where is Lord Cregan's army? Bring on the wolf. Well, there's a whole theory about that, actually, that like Cregan delaying sending his army south is because he wasn't really trying to lose good Northmen in Rhaenyra's cause or something. But
Dang.
It is a huge problem for them when they know that a significant portion of their population is going to die come winter that's going to last X number of years. They sent the old men who weren't going to be a problem. But I mean, if a lot of men die, they feel that for generations.
yeah, I've never been totally interested in this theory because it's like, yeah, they sent a lot of troops and those troops made a difference. So it's not like they just sat it out like the Freys do,
Yeah, and he does give his justification of being like, hey, we got to keep an eye on the North during the winter, especially with you showing up and talking to me about the Song of Ice and Fire and the threat to the North, and your mom thinks she's the prince who was promised. Like, we got to keep ready just in case, Like, and who knows? Like, who knows if the Starks haven't been getting visions in some way in the past of like, hey, when the threat comes, it's going to be when the entire realm is at war and your men march south, and then the others are going to come and take you unaware. Like,
that's one of the things I took away.
Sort of.
Sorry, Mike. I was saying I took that away from the play too. Yeah. Like if Lyanna's having dreams about the prince that was promised at Harrenhal, then other Starks may have a complementary something to Aegon's prophecy, which makes you even more suspicious that Torrhen and Aegon and Brandon Snow were talking about all this stuff. So yeah, we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm confident that's why Torrhen knelt.
What's that, Sean?
So the information gets cut off. Like we're seeing it with the Targaryens, we're telling only our heir, but then the heir dies, and then, so the prophecy of the prince that was promised doesn't make it through the Dance of the Dragons. And then
seemingly not.
And then
I think it's written down because of what Egg says about Aerys discovered it. The dragons are going to come back. Aerys found it in a prophecy, and Daeron streamed of it. I think it gets written down. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, there's a prince that was promised.
Sorry. Michael, I interrupted you to interrupt Sean. I'm sorry. I created chaos.
Sean, say what you're going to say, and then I'll go next.
I was going to say, like, there's a prince that was promised prophecy, and then there's Aegon's prophecy, which seems to be more specific. And I don't really know enough about the dynamic between those two things. But what I do think is, now that we have extra information from the play, if we had, the Starks passing down this information, which Cregan Stark, who we've met, seems to know something about the others, that hits a bottleneck too when Ned Stark becomes the Lord, because Brandon and his father both die and Lyanna is kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. It's only broken when Lyanna tells Ned about whatever she told him at the Tower of Joy. But yeah, up until that moment, there's the question of the lines of transmission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my take on the whole thing is that it is not entirely confined to being passed on from king to heir. It's like it's written down, it's written on the blade, it's probably written in scrolls. They're getting it over and over in dreams. It's just that the direct importance of it is something that every heir is told by their predecessor. And like the importance of it may be lost, but I firmly believe like it's rediscovered several times over the course of time, especially by Rhaegar. Like he's playing the Song of Ice and Fire for Lyanna in the play. Like he absolutely found it written down somewhere. And that's the thing that made him show up to the training yard one day and is like, it seems I must become a warrior. Like he's motivated fully by knowing about the prophecy. So it must be in a book somewhere.
That's why it actually didn't work to have Rhaenyra give a speech about it, because it's supposed to be this secret. I liked the moment. Like, oh, wow, it's kind of crazy for her to do that. But technically, that's the problem. Yeah, it's supposed to be a secret.
Well, I think that's fine, because none of those small folk have any way of, like, being like, well, we don't know what that is, and we're not going to write it down because we can't read or write. And, like, the people looking at, like, Orwyle and Torrhen Manderley are like, what is she talking about? So, like, I imagine it will be a forgotten footnote that she gave that speech anyway.
There's some crazy stuff that Rhaenyra said that one time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Rhaenyra went a little cuckoo after she
started talking about Bigfoot and angels. The Loch Ness monster. Yeah, she's
talking about being the chosen one or something. Anyway, yeah.
I let a cycle fall through between, my prescriptions of Xanax and I was just, it happened.
Nessie is real. She's gonna rise from the loch. That was horrible. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Sometimes you forget to take your meds and you go kill the Pope, and one thing leads to another.
Well, I'm unmedicated ADHD, but I will not take offense to that. Because I might do something crazy. You never know. You might see me in the newspaper one day.
I'm.
This guy got arrested for tearing down 17 flock cameras in one night, then having a bonfire.
My guidance counselor in high school, he's like, you probably do have like some sort of ADD, but you're too interesting to be medicated, so don't worry about it. I'm like, okay.
Dang.
That was your friend right there.
Oh no,
Yeah.
nobody told me that. I got diagnosed in second grade. They did not take long with me.
Dang.
Yeah.
Um, I have a question for you guys. Or since we you know how we jump around. So when Helena was talking about that blue, purple, and gold beetle, what did you guys think she was referring to? It eats its own waste, and I thought, were the colors significant to a certain house, like one house, or several houses that eat this waste? Like, what did you guys think of that?
I think she was saying that like it is a physically pretty bug, but everything about it is ugly, and then that's what she kind of went into with Rhaenyra is like, hey, like this whole city is ugly. It sustains ugliness. Like you, even though you may be physically beautiful, are ugly. Like
Dang.
everything about the situation, I think, is the waste eating beetle that looks pretty but is sustained on the death of other things and on the waste surrounding it, basically. And that's
That's
the
exactly how
throne,
I
the
took it.
Red Keep, Rhaenyra herself. Yeah.
So you
It
mean
could.
like King's Landing or the throne is the
Yeah, I
beetle?
think like the whole system is like, yeah, it's this big
The
pretty
wheel?
thing that only exists in King's Landing, but it's sustained off of waste and death, and it is actually ugly when you dig deeper and look into how it functions.
Yeah, like Rhaenyra is the beetle. Rhaenyra is the glamorous thing, or the Targaryens in general, living off of other people's, misery and all this terrible stuff. Really, that's just a criticism of monarchy in general. But in this situation, it's specifically pointed at Rhaenyra, and then she tells her, "You're ugly. Like you're not actually beautiful. You're ugly because you're sustained on ugliness." So
There's also a long history of talking about how, King's Landing smells like, and how there's, constantly just the canals of it from people dumping out their chamber pots. How it's an inescapable part of the city. How even the bowls of brown are compared to it. Like it's just everything is, without getting you demonetized, everything is feces, right? It smells of feces out there. Everything looks like feces. It's ugly. It's dirty. Bad things are happening constantly. And then out of that filth, like they're saying, this, beautiful creature is, on top of it.
yeah, you could have done different symbolism. Say, oh well, this bug is doing tremendous recycling, like we're turning trash into a beautiful bug carapace. But that was not the meaning of it. So
I wonder if those are the beetles that Orson Lannister smashes. We'll never know.
Oh no.
I do think
Chris-
it is funny though. They're telling D&D this is how you do a beetle metaphor, guys. Like
that was
this
a
is a
deep
good
lore
beetle
cut,
metaphor.
Michael. That was a deep cut.
Yeah.
Kirsty Angel is saying that this description matches the stag beetle, and that's interesting because they're self-styled kings. So,
Okay. Bug symbolism on 100. Somebody in this writing team is really into the bug symbolism. Not getting to see Dreamfire's reaction to Helena's death was upsetting. I don't know if I'd use the word upsetting, but I get you. There's this great foreshadowing in season 1 with young Alicent where baby Helena is crying in front of the window she'll inevitably jump from. Yeah, every time Helena's near the window, people are pointing at it. It's happened several times. And how about Rhaenyra shutting the window at the end with the finality?
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it's just like I don't have time to care about this. Like, yeah.
But also the noise stops. So it's kind of like her not killing the boy specifically, but her shutting out the noise. So when she becomes more colder and colder, that's when she stops hearing the ringing.
Yeah, it was very business-like. Like, oh, I guess we'll close the window now, or something like, yeah, it was meant to be a detached kind of a thing.
yeah.
If you were a medieval Catholic, what would it take you to murder the Pope? Yeah, that's just the thing. Like, even though the doors were closed, other soldiers saw Alan do that, and other Septons that didn't get killed saw it happen. So, like, word's going to get out, and they're going to act like this never happened, I think. But
she did point out to him that like he's not a member. I don't know
Catholic.
what his beliefs are.
Yeah.
But yeah, she pointed out like you're of old Valyria. Our gods are greater than these like fake gods. Like she's drinking the Daemon Kool-Aid. Like Daemon also made the point of like calling the 7 lesser gods earlier in the episode, and he's still on his whole like we're the gods actually sort of
At
vibe.
this, I think the point here is that like any holy place, a normal person would not defile. Like I'm not a religious person, but like a church is a church. You know, a mosque is a mosque. A temple is a temple. And so like to go into a temple and kill people is like, even if Alan isn't a believer in the faith, he's grown up in a land where everyone talks about the 7 gods and stuff. It's like, you're really going to kill the High Septon? Like that should give anybody the heebie-jeebies in Westeros. So,
but maybe
it's important to everyone.
We were talking, especially last episode, about how getting a dragon changes you, and Alan has gotten a dragon. Did he or did he not mount Bela? So now we're seeing him become like very much more Valyrian. Even when he's talking to Adam, he like you could see him kind of like. I think we'll see more. I like this characterization from Alan.
He's like, no, I'm going to marry my cousin, and I'm going to be Targaryen as F, and then that's how we're going to do it.
He's changing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of holy places, I did have some people I know who went to the Vatican and then they ended up filming like TikTok dances and memes in the Vatican. And I was like, I kind of respect the hell out of that. That's very funny. Like in the yard in front of the Vatican, they're like filming TikToks. I'm like, that's pretty funny. But also, did they like gloss over the legitimization of Adam or Alan?
No, it has not happened.
Like, that's what I was wondering, because like when he declares himself the chosen heir, the next lord of the once and future lord of the tides, he says, and then Adam comes up and is like, kind of implies like Rhaenyra has raised you, and he doesn't say legitimize, but like he's acting like, hey, Rhaenyra is replacing Corlys with you. Like it kind of almost implies that Rhaenyra has either like said something off screen, maybe didn't fully legitimize him, but like that he is aware he is actually either being raised up into that spot or he's raising himself up, whether he's legitimized or not.
He's working for the promotion. Yeah.
But didn't Corlys tell him, all I can give you is my name, like you're next? It's not official yet. You didn't sign the contracts, but you're next.
She also didn't
I think
say
that
she
explains Alan's motivation in part. Like, yeah, if I do what Rhaenyra says and I'm a good soldier, I'm going to come out of this Alan Velaryon, Lord of the Tides.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Is like he's very motivated to do what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She was worried about the optics of doing it and when. She didn't say she wouldn't do it. So, like, the idea is, he's already taken on the responsibilities of regional manager. He just hasn't been given the title and salary yet.
Which is usually how it works with a bad employer. Laenor is not returning. He's gone. And they're not going to address or explain anything. We got what we got. Alan's motive is kill all... Alice's motive is... Okay, well, we talked about this earlier. Sorry, it's part of coming back to Super Chats an hour after they get sent in. I'm sure you sent this in when we were talking about it. But yeah, we hashed that one out. Was that?
I said maybe to answer the question.
Yeah, I think...
Summarize in one word.
Well, and I was trying to put my finger on that when I was saying she may not have any affection for Aemond whatsoever. She might, but she might not. It might be a pure theater manipulation, and she just wants, her son and a dragon that she could control. But we will see. They might not even do the dragon plot line. I mean, they probably will because they put the eggs on there, but yeah, we'll just have to see. Yeah, take it back. They definitely will do that. They have eggs. I give this episode an 8. Expected more. Was somebody talking?
Oh, I said Dreamfire's eggs.
Yes, Dreamfire's eggs. Expected more. The battle was great. A lot of things didn't make a lot of sense. Thank David and everyone on the streams every Sunday. You're all the best. We're holding it down, Fernando. Doing our thing here. Has anyone like that? Has anything like that curse happened in Ice and Fire's history or legends? No. Does she parallel any in-world mythology? Well, I will say the Nightfort stories are all kind of random. Like the Nightfort horror stories, they don't really match like other magics and stuff that we've seen. You can interpret them different ways, but like they really do just read like George spinning spooky stories out of thin air. this is a little bit like that, like cursed to live inside a specific area. No, we've not seen anything like that, but it's the kind of old witchy folklore that George does draw from. So to me, it didn't seem too out of place.
We've seen a couple things close. Like one is cold hands, but the idea that Alice is capable of still getting pregnant and is still walking around like normal, that seems weird. Whereas cold hands is visibly a dead person with the blood blackened and congealed at his hands and feet.
It also just said in the chat by error 404 username not found. Sorry if I'm way late. Sorry if you already said this, but Alice Rivers is confirmed to be Heron's queen on the HBO podcast. So she was apparently, in this canon at least, the wife of Heron the Black.
Interesting.
Well, that's pretty spooky. I mean, we never heard about a wife for Heron the Black. But if you imagine like who would marry Heron the Black, like that could be a very intimidating person. So yeah, again, we'll just have to see if there's a book reality behind this.
Right. That's the first thing I looked up when the episode ended. I was like, did Heron the Black have a named wife? And no, we don't hear about anything. So it is weird though that she feels the connection to the land of Harrenhal. So maybe he met his wife like when he conquered the Riverlands, but like, I don't know. Like, I guess we don't know how old his sons were necessarily, but like he just moved into Harrenhal a couple days ago, but it took a long time to build. So like
he ruled from the Riverlands mostly before then. Yeah.
Right.
He'd gone native.
Like, maybe he found her. Found her near Harrenhal, was building the castle maybe for her / with her or whatever, like, and then they all got roasted.
An Iron Islander called her a salt wife this season. Oh, that's kind of true. Like, not because they knew who she was, but you're right. I guess that was a clue, kind of.
Yeah.
All right. Well, she is kind of the Lady of Harrenhal then, technically, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It also makes her name Alice Whore.
It does. And it makes sense of why she says, "You speak to me thus in the shadow of my fortress," because like maybe it was built for her in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah, absolutely. They use Rhaenyra to do what they couldn't with Daenerys in the final season of Game of Thrones. HBO wants to redeem the terrible. I don't see how they're redeeming the ending of the original show. That part I don't get.
Like the quality. Like, it's not just like one episode, burn them all.
I guess, but these aren't the same people making these two shows. Like, these are different people.
You mean they don't care? Okay, yeah.
It may not be about redeeming, but I think they are sort of like how I joke. They'll be like, hey, D&D, numbskulls, here's how you do a beetle metaphor. They're like, hey, here's how you do a Mad Queen arc. Like, you don't have her just flip the switch in one episode. You force her to face the difficulties of ruling and watch her slowly go mad.
Well, and so the other problem here is that George Martin wrote Rhaenyra as a Mad Queen and didn't write Daenerys like that. Like, that's not where Daenerys' story is going, and I will fight you on that. So,
all right.
Well, there's also the idea that to HBO, there's nothing wrong. All those episodes got watched a lot, and they made a lot of money at the end of Game of Thrones. They did fine. They don't, the money is what they wanted.
They knew there was enough wrong that they were like a little hesitant to go into spin-offs for a little while, and like House of the Dragon they were not like the most confident in. They didn't renew it for every season right away. They're like, we'll give you one season and see if people come back. So like they knew the vibes were off, but they weren't as disappointed as they could have been, I'm sure.
Right. There was a huge fan backlash, and they were aware of it. But at the same time, they're now doing a lot of the things that Game of Thrones got criticized for in the later seasons. So it's kind of like they're recognizing that, dumb it down, more audience.
Can I give an unpopular opinion? The Baela and Rhaenyra scene, Sorry, Bayla. I feel like she had no standing. Everything she was talking about, I did not identify with. Um, we have Bayla saying like, "Oh my God, uh, Adam and I have been flying around doing all this work for you. You need to be nice to me." When we saw episode after episode, Bayla's been like, "Use me. I'll go. I'll fly my driving. I don't
Yeah.
mind. I like that. Let me help. Let me." Okay, so this is your job. Is to just yeah. I'm sorry you have to look for Vagar or fly around. And sorry that your mission seems pointless, but that's how it is in real life. Like think about cops and how long they're doing these stakeouts parked in front of people's house to find one little clue in the trash can. So it's like, so you're mad about that, and then it's like, Bayla, are you also forgetting you got her son killed? Like, I mean, she didn't get her son killed, but you were involved in treason against the queen by locking her up, blah blah blah. You guys know. But like, so it's like I get the writing, like we had to give them this moment, but I was watching that and being like, be quiet. Rhaenyra's in the right here.
So I think that they did a good job. I agree with you. I think that what they did is they gave both characters a point. Like you can see Rhaenyra's point. Like your patrols have done nothing, and I'm running a war in a kingdom here. Like what are you complaining about? At the same time, Bayla is also responding to the way that Rhaena's been treated. That's really what's upsetting Bayla, is like seeing her sister get discarded when she was trying her best, and she is more sympathetic to her. And I think also she's seeing some of the same stuff that Helena rightly pinned Rhaenyra for. So I think that both characters did have a point in that scene, which is what made the confrontation compelling to me.
Yeah, I will agree with what Nettles said that like Bayla maybe isn't the person who has the most right to call Rhaenyra out on this, but it is a theme of Rhaenyra treating the dragon seeds terribly. Bayla
Yeah.
has always like, I don't need a nap. I can go for another round. Let's go. And so like yeah, it is out like it's an evolution of how she's feeling. I think a lot of that comes from like you guys said, Rhaena, but also Corlys. Her grandfather's life is at stake. I
And
think that's
Chorus.
what kind of pushes her into
Correct.
that different mindset. Is like, hey, why don't you have a plan to rescue my grandfather? He's your most important ally. And that's what kind of that combined with Rhaena kind of pushes her over the edge to actually call out the thing that is true. Rhaenyra is using a lot of the people closest to her as tools and like
Yeah.
kind of discarding them when they're not as useful or not worrying about them at the very least. So yeah, it's
I
yeah,
I chuckled
valid.
when Rhaenyra was like, "Insolence runs in your blood," and she's referring to Daemon, who's her
Damon.
husband.
Yes.
And
Yep,
uncle
that was
and pure
funny.
blood too.
I was laughing
And then like
about that.
yeah, I will say it is kind of a crazy thing that she's apparently got her locked up after that. Then, like, that is also another mistake by Rhaenyra, like trying to be like, "Oh, you talked back to me once. You're grounded, girl." Like,
Yeah, that's what
that's his
I've been
job.
saying
It's
that for a few
another.
weeks, that Rhaenyra's not been treating the Velaryons well enough, and that they're her most important ally. So Baela was sort of standing up for the house there, as opposed to like,
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
tired of going on these patrols. Like she's really talking about her sister and her dad, or not her dad, her
yeah.
grandfather. Yeah.
And her uncle's not being legitimized too. I could see it, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying these are
right.
small potatoes to what's going on.
Yes, which is
Yeah.
But
why Rhaenyra was somewhat right and not completely crazy to sort of, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to justify physical violence, but I'm saying you can see why Rhaenyra was upset or gave her a check. Like, what are you talking about? This episode was awesome. This season was exactly what I wanted it to be. The ending of last season has been redeemed for me. Do you guys have a favorite moment of action for this episode? Been loving these post games, by the way. Cool. So it just goes to show you, like, some people hate the crap out of the show. Some people really like it. Some people think it's pretty good. It's really interesting how many different opinions there are. I don't think there is really even is a consensus at this point, but
Yeah.
maybe everyone
I
believes
I
their
think
opinion
it's
is the consensus. I don't know.
yeah. I
Favorite
think a lot
action
of people are
moments for the
enjoying it,
season?
and there's a lot of loud criticism, but that's the
Yes,
vibe I
very
get.
loud. You have to limit your.
I was loud. I was loud. And that's the thing is like I don't think I mean that was pretty serious criticism that I gave. I didn't really pull punches, and at some point I'll probably release a video about it, but there are also things to appreciate. And if all you're doing is just sitting there stewing and hating, it's yourself you're making miserable.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like there are legitimate things to criticize, but then I also do see a lot of takes where it's like, oh, you're framing this in the most bad faith way possible to like get a dunk in on a thing where it's like, why not just enjoy the thing or not watch it? But some people, they get off from the hate watch, and the Twitter takes or Reddit takes or whatever where they frame it badly is enjoyable for them. So you know what, that's good for them, I guess.
Reddit
To
has
answer the
become
question,
more.
I already said Roddy the Ruin getting Orman, but my second favorite action scene is Aegon punching Aemon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say mine. I loved Caraxe's head coming in through the gate. That was awesome. But I also, in the middle of the action, I loved Ormond's reaction to like Gwaine freed Corlys and betrayed me, and Darren has gone over my head to try sue for peace. Like his realization that he's lost control was also very good.
I agree with that.
Did I lose the room?
What's that? What I didn't hear what Sean said. Sorry.
Oh, I said, when did I lose the room?
Yeah. Yes.
So during one of the tantrums, probably that everyone had to like pretend wasn't happening. Yeah, I did like that moment. I really liked the John Roxton Damon fight. That was pretty cool. Went on for a while, took some twists and turns. You genuinely weren't quite sure what was going to, how that was going to shake out. And just to go back to the whole like people's opinions on the show, my main thing that I don't understand is people that have very intensely negative opinions to the point where like, why are you still watching it? You don't seem like you're having fun. And then the other thing that I don't really get is the modern phenomena where people essentially consume media as fodder for their online arguments. And very clearly the online arguments are the main thing that like gets their blood pumping. And they're essentially just jumping on leaks or rumors about the show in order to rip it or have a take and get into it with other people. And somewhere out there's a line between the normal way that modern people like go online to talk about the stuff that we like and that, whatever you call that. So, yeah, it just is what it is.
That's
you just
a
have to
quotable
move on and
statement.
not get involved with it, really, because it's going to keep going on. And, like people are going to keep doing that. So you just have to not engage with it if you don't like it, I think.
That's a quotable. I like how you put that, David. Like on the rewatch of the stream, like someone should take a pause about what you said because you put it very nicely.
Oh, if you're not having fun, go do something else, right?
But no, also how people consume with
Yes.
the intent to argue.
Well, I've thought about it a lot. I do enjoy talking about the show online, despite everything that I say. I'm still searching for that good internet from like 2003 or whenever it was. It's out there somewhere. But yeah, you end up walking away from the computer at a certain point because you're just like, all right, that's enough of arguing with inane sort of like emotional displays or whatever.
Yeah. Like I saw. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go for it.
Okay, I was just gonna say I saw so many people, like, especially in the lead up to this episode, arguing about like fake leaks and how terrible. Oh my god, I can't believe and like they all ended up being fake for the most part. So it's like, or like so many people were mad about that AI Helena throwing herself out behind Rhaenyra meme image, basically, and it's just like so many people got so upset about things that weren't even real. Like they didn't even wait for the episode to come out and they were already like dunking on the writers for things, and it's just like I think a lot of people are chasing that dragon of late seasons Game of Thrones where like the internet was united in hating upon the writing of this thing, and like that was a lot of people's like coming of age in media criticism, and they got 5,000 upvotes for complaining about the writing, and like now it's just become a mantra of like bad writing, bad writing, bad writing, and they all want to have that sense of community where everyone was coming together and just shitting on something, and it just ain't season 8 of Game of Thrones. It's just not. So
That's well said as well, Michael.
Yeah,
chasing that dragon, chasing
the
that
formative year. The formative years during the decline of Game of Thrones has to have warped some minds, like you're saying. Yeah.
Like, media criticism feels different post late season's Game of Thrones online, at least for me.
I would agree with
Definitely.
that.
Mhm.
He's done war in a designated war zones, not in a city with civilians. Oh, that's Damon. We were talking about Damon.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
It is a little different.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra's outfits and hairstyles went through their very own arc this season. What do you guys think of her warrior-like outfit tonight? Why wasn't she wearing that when they took the city? Or every time that she rides a dragon into a dangerous place is what I was wondering. Like, why haven't we seen this before?
I bet it was
Because
in King's
she's-
Landing.
She's
Visenya's
imitating-
armor, it's supposed to be,
Oh.
right?
Okay. There you go.
I had an
she's
idea
imitating- Oh, go
No,
ahead.
you go. No, you go. Because I'm about to change the subject.
She's the outfit is imitating from which Disney movie is it with the queen who's the most fair, and then all of a sudden in the mirror she's not the most fair.
Snow
it's the
White
exact
and the
same.
Huntsman.
Yes, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's the exact same outfit as the Disney version, as the remake, as Snow White and the Huntsman. It's that kind of like, it's a commentary on the crone where they kind of take the feminine out of the outfit and make it like a woman imitating a man to rule. There's some inherent sexism in it, but yeah, that was the outfit, and it was absolutely for those reasons.
Interesting.
So I had a poll idea.
Mhm.
Since it's the last episode, like which characters we think had like the best arcs from like episode 1 of this season to now, and they could be dead or alive and still have a certain arc. And that question had asked about the costume arcs. I was like, oh,
Well, who would be the toughest thing about these polls is always figuring out how to narrow it down to 4 choices. Who had
I
good
know.
arcs this year? Gwaine had a good arc.
Rhaena changed a lot. Of course, Rhaenyra from episode 1 with her crying and everyone criticizing her crying to where she is now. Aemon completely changed. Well, I guess everybody. Maybe, yeah, you're right. It's so hard to narrow it down.
I think Gwaine had the best arc.
Gwaine, Aegon, Aemond. They both had good arcs. I don't think Kristen had an arc. It was the end of his arc this season.
It was
Like
the
his
same,
arc is
yeah.
really more of a whole show thing.
Ulf.
Tywin Lannister went from fucking pirates' wives to giving a heroic last stand. So that was pretty good. He had a good season.
Easy on the F-bombs there, Michael talks about stuff.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Michael talks about F-bombs.
Yeah, I would say Ulf.
Ulf was great.
Ulf and Rhaena. Maybe Sheep Stealer, too. Sheep Stealer had a good arc. Starting off with a gullet and ending up in pieces. Sheep Stealer.
I don't know that Helena had an arc. She was interesting, but she didn't change a lot.
Yeah.
We're talking about change. I would go with Aegon, Aemond, certainly those two, Gwaine, and probably Rhaena.
Mm-hmm.
Rhaena didn't change. I don't know about that.
I think Rhaena changed a lot, and
She
I think
claimed the
Baela
dragon
changed a
episode
lot.
1. Yeah, think about her claiming the first time she claims that dragon episode 1. So
She did
Yeah, and
kind of
very
loop back
powerful.
around from being like sad and discarded by her family to being a dragon rider and on her own to again being sad and discarded by her family. So it did kind of full arc into a big circle, but in a slightly different spot than she was before.
Like you said it about something else earlier, monkey's paw.
Yeah,
mm.
yeah,
Michael talks about
absolutely.
Well, back to the super chats.
Indeed, yep, because there was still more.
Yeah, it is tough keeping up with these. You guys are spoiling us here.
Enthusiastic. We appreciate y'all. Aemond enjoying the ultimate lemon party. What's a lemon
Confirmed.
party?
Nope, you don't want to go into it.
Okay, move on. UrbanDictionary.com. Let's talk about where Allison and Gwaine and Vagar are. Yeah. Well, Gwaine we know where he is. He's alive. He's in the ruins there of Tumbleton. Allison is somewhere in between King's Landing and Harrenhal, and Vagar is God knows where. We see Alice claim again very quickly to claim, oh, Vagar left you. She drove him away. She definitely did that.
Yeah.
Her.
Yeah, I tend to agree at this point.
Drove Vagar away. So where is Vagar? Burning stuff somewhere. A little annoyed that we've had no sign of Vagar. Like, it's Vagar. Like,
yeah. Vagar should go to Old Valyria like Balerion did.
Yeah. Although that was a case of, it's a case of where you're from, right? So Balerion went back because he was born there. Drogon went back to the Dothraki Sea because he was born there. So she'd go back to Dragonstone, which could be very interesting.
Yeah. I guess that's not impossible. That's not impossible. Allison
Rhaenyra gets back. Rhaenyra gets back, and her council that she also left on Dragonstone and never brought up again has just all been eaten by Vagar.
Well, it would save time if we combined everything that happens on Dragonstone with Sunfire and Aemond or Aegon and Moondancer and Baela. Like, just no, Rhaenyra just flew there, and there was Vagar at the end.
Yeah,
she's got her hair up in the bun. She's telling stories. Nana Vagar.
Yes, Allison is going to have a legendary crash out when she gets home and find out that Helena is dead. And also in the books, this was something that really turned King's Landing against Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And I think it will also do
I think the fallout's coming early next season.
Yeah.
Some similar to Blood and Cheese being an early season like disaster that turns people against Rhaenyra, or the small folk at least.
Yep. I think I'll finally feel bad for Allison or be on her side for a moment when she confronts Rhaenyra, because it's like, I did my part of the bargain. I poisoned Aemon, because to her knowledge, Aemon's gone. And I come back and what? I left her in your care? So, yeah.
Everyone is bad at their job. No one is good at their job in this story. No one pulls
and they all
anything
keep
off,
getting
except for
promoted.
Larys.
They all keep getting promoted, except for Alan. Alan was my guy. He was showing competence. He was a good guy, and now he's evil. Great. Now he's going to be bad at his job.
Killed the Pope. So that's a spoilers question, which we're almost there. Ulf gets points for killing the child abuser, sure, but he also killed hundreds of women and children when he burned Tumbleton with his dragon, so don't lose sight of that.
Look, you want to make an omelet, you break a few children.
Oh.
No. You're in timeout again. Ulf unfortunately gives credence to the idea that the lowborn can't handle dragons. Jay, you're in timeout too. Adam, proof of the opposite. Okay, you've redeemed yourself. Hugh in the middle. Honor, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't think it's about lowborn or highborn. Most of it is about like how you were raised. Like, did you have parents that taught you stuff, or do you have massive trauma deficiencies in your personality that you're looking to fix with a dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is also another bit of don't drink and drive your dragon. Aegon showed it to us, and Ulf now is confirming it can go even worse.
He was drinking and driving. You're right.
Dragon under the influence.
Yeah, dragon under the influence. Yeah, it's bad. When the arrows took out the guy next to Roddy, it reminded me of Lord of the Rings when the boulder landed on the group and the general just spit on the boulder. Yeah, he immediately turned his back, too, just to show he wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you guys catch when the Northmen all charged, there was a dude who just took one of those rocks just directly to the face and his head, like, exploded?
Which is just lame. Like, it's all good to have this attitude like, you go to battle, you might die. But you always picture yourself doing something great first. Some of those guys started running and then just got hit right away. It was like, that's all. That's it. That's what you came for.
Yep.
Do the small folk or highborn know about Targ Madness coin flip at this point? Lots of what ifs. What the F looks when Rhaenyra started talking about prophecy. I don't know if they do or not, but it doesn't really, you don't need it. You know, I mean, they're dragon lords. They're alien and different. And she started talking about prophecy and the White Walkers. Again, it's like bringing up Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So.
They're incestuous aliens, Dunk.
Yeah, right. So that sort of talk is out there. The coin flip thing is just something Acceptance said one time that's turned into this whole mantra. It's really not a thing. What if Rhaenyra tells Aegon II? So that's an interesting thought. That's a spoiler question. Try to help me remember to come back to this one, guys.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Mixed feelings about this season. Pretty far off from the book at this point, but not too mad about it. Just hope they stick the landing. Yeah, the longer an adaptation like this goes on, the more it changes. It's really just about what they do. The Aegon, Aemon, Daron reunion that they set up and seeing them interact is going to be so entertaining, assuming it actually happens, of course. It was interesting just to hear Aegon and Aemon acknowledge that Daron exists. It was mostly funny to see them the way they talked about Ormond. Aegon was like, what did he call Ormond?
Well, he called Daron I don't want to get you demonetized, but not a good thing. And
TWAT, was it?
Yeah. And it's like, he's the only person worth a damn, and he was forced into this situation, and you guys are being so mean to him, and he's just a good guy.
I think that was just like our little brother, or that stupid little, our little brother thinks he can blah, blah, blah. The child soldiers reminded me of Yahtzee Germany and modern terrorists resorting to sacrificing children and so cowardly putting them in front. Yeah, like we said, the only precedent we've seen that is Theon. It's basically one of the most despicable things that anyone's done. HBO canon means nothing. Well, it's different from the book canon. I think so Elio and Linda put out a thing about the play, and the phraseology they used was good. They said the play, the TV shows, they're not book canon, but they may contain canon. Okay, like the TV show showing us that RLJ is true. Like if you had any doubts about it, that makes it a lot more likely that, in fact, RLJ is true in the books, too, because it doesn't really make sense that they would change that. That's an interpretation. It's not the same as reading it in Winds of Winter, but we can infer. And so, similarly, like with the play, I'll give this to you, Michael, Lyanna and Elia having all this agency. That's probably not something that they made up out of whole cloth. A lot of people thought that was going to be the case anyway. So, contains bits of canon, but is not canon. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the metaphor that I will eventually use in a video talking about this that I think applies to the show and the play is like imagining George R.R. Martin's mind and the future of the books as like a room that he's decorating that we're all waiting in the hallway for him to open the door and show us what's inside. And he has he's given us a bunch of hints. He's like, there's a large piece of wooden furniture in the room. And we're all trying to figure out what piece of furniture that is. And like half the people think it's a wardrobe, half the people think it's a nice big table. And then he's let multiple groups of people into the room. And they have come out and they've told us it's a table. And then someone else comes out and tells us it's a table. Like that's R plus L equals J being in the show and in the play. And it's like, okay, well, half the people already thought it was a table. 2 people who have been inside the room said, yeah, I was just in there. It's a table. Like it's probably a table. Until we get in the room, we don't know for sure, but like it moves the needle a lot especially when they line up. So
That's
like
a good analogy.
In the cases where it's like we've never heard about a painting being on the wall, maybe they just made up that there was a painting on the wall. Like if it doesn't line up with other things that we've heard, like sure, maybe it is made up. But when it does line up with things that we've heard, it moves the needle a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's well said.
Let's table this discussion, and let me tell you about Brandon and Ashara Dane. No, I'm not one of those.
Well, I'm not surprised they turned out to be a love story. People were trying to make that real complicated, and it's just, a tragic thing. Ashara got pregnant, she had a miscarriage, and it was Brandon's. That's always what I thought was going to be the case. But MVP for season acting... That's a tough pick. I mean,
season, not episode.
That's
Tom Glenn Carney is my nominee.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tom too. I think we've gotten just normalized to Emma's performance and Olivia Cook both. They're just consistently excellent. Same thing with Matt Smith too. Like you get used to him being Damon, like he's a part of the scenery, but he's an incredible Damon. Ormond was great. Daron was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ormond was just chewing the scenery there at times, where he's just like standing up in the bath, like, look at me. Is she a you know what with a dragon? Like, yeah, he
Yeah.
was great.
And think
He was
about
also written really well. Like the hypocrisy inherent in him, where he's talking about how, you know, the Targaryens are these, you know, mutant monsters and everything, yet he is commanding dragon riders. He is, you know, controlling the heir to the throne, who's a Targaryen. He is, you know, he's doing all of these things that dragon lords do, basically everything that a dragon lord does. And I had more notes on this, but it's not worth going into. But he's literally done everything that a dragon lord does, and yet he's somehow, you know, looking down on them.
Yes.
He's tough but wimpy.
And think about Fia Saban's performance as Helena. Sorry, my eyes itching me here. Like,
She did good, yeah.
you completely buy Helena. Like, we're all debating about, you know, the character and stuff. You never lose immersion in any of her scenes. Like, she is very accurately portraying a character that is different, that has one ear in the spiritual world, that is troubled by things that other people can't understand. Just like, there's never a crack in that presentation. So I almost don't even know how you pick. We're spoiled.
It's
with
unfortunate.
acting. Yeah.
It's unfortunate with the ones you're talking about, where you forget that they're acting because they're doing such a good job that we don't give them credit. So this ends up really being like a prize for who's the most charismatic actor. So like Ormond did all his scenes with a ton of charisma, Tom Glencarney with a ton of charisma. And so it's like, it's unfortunate that you don't give as much credit to the people who we've just kind of like expected that from.
Which is why I spoke up for them. That reason exactly. Yeah. So I think we're just spoiled. It's almost, the main thing we're wanting is like more episodes, more lines, more challenging dialogue. Like, if you have these actors and these incredible sets and this budget, could have let them cook a little more. I think that is a valid criticism.
Maybe we do a poll.
I don't know how to narrow it down. I'm chickening out of the poll. Like, how do you pick 4?
Rhaenyra, Helena, Ormond, and
Aegon, I guess.
That's easy.
Maynard Plum, if you're still with us, let's do the character names, because those will be easier to recognize. But it's basically, yeah. What did you say it was?
Rhaenyra, Helena, Ormond,
and Aegon. I'm content with that. Rhaenyra, Helena, Ormond, Aegon. And we'll get that poll up here in a second, and you could shout out your own answers. You've probably already done that, but
I'll vote in the poll. All right.
I will say, someone brought up in chat Kristen Cole, and yeah, Kristen Cole was also phenomenally acted. Like,
yeah,
I really enjoyed Kristen's arc. He was brought up with like the whole having an arc as well, and it goes back to previous seasons. But yeah, his whole entire character arc, now that it's done, was really great. Like,
yeah,
a great character and very fun to hate, but like also very fun to watch.
Yeah, somebody who kind of like Mysaria, was born outside the halls of power, wandered in there, never really got out, didn't know what to do, kind of got lost, you know.
Yeah.
Tom Tangleton.
Yes, I saw that mentioned too, yeah. Tom Tangleton, actor of the season.
And while we wait for that poll to come online, let's go for last few super chats here. Let me just see if I've missed any from earlier. Looks pretty solid.
Does Roddy the Ruin not just look like Roddy Piper did?
I don't remember what he looked like. I just remember the name. You may have watched more wrestling than some of us.
I didn't watch a ton of wrestling, but he ended up getting into acting. He was on a number of TV shows and a few movies. He was in Always Sunny, which is my favorite. But
okay. And let's see. Interesting super chat about John was skipped. I didn't see it. I just went back through the whole list.
John, okay.
Johnny Ice.
Uh,
If somebody wants to repeat that question, I'll try to catch it. But
yeah, someone in chat try and say it.
can we try to
Somebody
get into
said
spiral out? Talk about Prince that was promised, Jon Snow stuff. Can we talk about who wasn't in the finale? Lares, Tyland, Vagar, the Frey's army, and the Vale's army. Cregan, yeah, Cregan's. I mean, he's not going to be here till next season. Tyland and Lares, we didn't need this episode. You know, we wanted to keep it focused on the big action. Vagar's the big question for me, but they'll answer it next season.
Mm-hmm.
Autocorrect destroyed that comment. They made Tyland a banister, but they didn't do ATT the wall.
I think all of us have gotten so used to reading typo that we don't even see these anymore. It's so bad. It's hard to believe nobody could find Vagar. Does this happen in the book? Bela and Adam were flying around the whole time, useless. No, in the books they're looking for Vagar, but Aemond is on Vagar. And Alice is there too, and they're running around. So a little different.
Aemond is burning down half the Riverlands purposefully as a war tactic in the books. So it's a very different scenario.
Oh.
I do like giving Aemond a plot arc where he's actually like sorry and realizes all the destruction he's caused. Like I do think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So in the play, they're implying that. Oh God, no, not exactly, Christy. I don't know if we can hash this out right now. It was Dany and Jon are both born or conceived, not born, conceived when there's a comet, and that's different. So the prophecy is that Azor Ahai Reborn is born under a bleeding star. We don't know what that means or whatever. Not conceived, but in the books, Rhaegar conceives baby Aegon with Elia. There's a comet spotted on that night, which led to my joke about Rhaegar knocking on Elia's door like, hey, there's a comet. And apparently, yes, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
But,
I do think like that is something that we can pretty much know that the play was doing for artistic effect, and the fact that they have to condense it to a 4-hour play.
Exactly.
And they just wanted to imply that either Dany or Jon could be the prince that was promised, or both of them. Like,
sorry guys, Maynard Plum is out of town supporting me.
Okay.
He may be away from the computer. I'll get this poll going while you guys keep talking.
Also, the skipped Jon Snow super chat was apparently... I did notice when we skipped it, but I did briefly bring it up. It was someone comparing, like, would Daemon now be more hesitant to have Rhaenyra be aggressive because he saw the horrors of war, and they compared it to Jon Snow, like, looking around horrified as King's Landing burns, as Daemon was looking around horrified as Tumbleton burned. And, like, I don't think... we briefly touched on the super chat question of, like, would Daemon be more hesitant to be aggressive? And I don't think so.
But, we did answer that.
We just didn't mention the Jon Snow.
Jon is not Daemon, and it wasn't Rhaenyra burning down the city and killing innocents. It was, Ulf.
Yes. I mean, Daemon will stab Ulf if he gets near him, if he gets the opportunity to. I'm sure he would do that. But I don't think he will be hesitant to attack people.
One thing I want to address, I'm seeing in the chat, somebody's commented, Dany is greater than Chungus Snow. If you're doing any sort of Jon versus Dany, like, and you may not be taking this seriously at all, but I will just speak on the broader thing. Like, you're falling into the trap of the show. Jon and Dany aren't going to be pitted against each other in the books. They are presented with parallel arcs. They have the same moral compass. They are set up to work together. George has talked about Ice and Fire being about their coming together. So all of that rivalry comes from the fact that the writers had Jon stab Dany with a friggin' sword. Not going to happen in the books, according to me. So I would just lovingly encourage everyone to step out of that dynamic. It's stupid. It's not what's going on. That wasn't loving to call it stupid, but I'm trying. You guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not how George thinks.
Yeah, they're both heroes for the same reason, which is moral compass. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
I was saying, it's just not how George thinks. When George is writing the major themes of this story, one of them is an end to the cycle of violence and things like that, which requires, enemy sides to come together and create peace. Peace has to be created. So the idea that the two heroes of the series, that one of them would just choose violence, it's not that's not the point why he wrote the series. And yeah, it became a thing on the show. And yeah, it's kind of a thing on this show. You're supposed to choose black and green because of the way the show is marketed. That's also not really how he wrote Fire and Blood. You're supposed to look at both sides kind of being wrong.
Yeah, Bebe the Bard, I support you. We give timeouts for like just random George negativity. You might not get banned, or you might get banned. You probably get a timeout. Like, it's just, don't come here to just complain about that. I'm not really down with that. Because guess what? If George had written these books, none of us would be here doing this at all. So,
Nope.
Aegon is winning the poll, but everybody's got a decent amount of support here. Rhaenyra's in second, Helena, Ormond. It's tough
I
because
voted
Ormond's
Rhaenyra.
character doesn't have, it's not as central a character as the other three, but he really did well in the role. So
Yeah,
kind of
it's about
punching out of the weight
acting, not
class.
who do you like. Yeah, it's about acting.
Yeah. And I will, just on the Jon and Dany thing, I will say I do think there's a chance Jon stabs Dany in a very different context than what the show put out.
Nisa,
But
Nisa?
I'll stand on that.
Yeah.
I'll stand on that like side of the aisle of maybe. I think it might happen
It's
in a
all
very
both
different way.
Okay, yeah. So
Nisa, Nisa, right?
I'm done with this. I'm sorry. I'm just done with this guy. He's
Nisa, Nisa, right, Michael?
Yes. Yes.
Nisa.
Yeah. Basically, like, yeah. In
I
a
was gonna
sacrificial way. I'll make my long Jon Dany video at some point. It's been on my to-do list for like 2 years because I'm like, oh no, this is one where I have to find so much, like, trying to predict the end of A Dream of Spring is harder than trying to predict something that's going to come in The Winds of Winter and like actually draw the through line to get people there with me. So, but
I just did a Rhaenyra style execution. I was like trying to rage ban somebody. I'm like, where's the neck? It's around here somewhere. I'm just gonna keep chopping.
You pulled a Rhaenyra. All right, back to super chats.
It's like the guy with gamer in his handle came in being a friggin' troll. Like, why do you got to do that, man? Like, we're all trying to keep our minds open that not all gamers are like that, and then you come in here and behave like that. Somewhere.
David just playing whack-a-mole on all the basements.
Yeah, it's almost made him a mod. Almost kicked out the person next to him. It's tough. It's moving, man. It's a moving target.
that would be a funny misclick, is if you accidentally give a troll like full authorization to the channel and they just take it over.
My channel's been
Like in the
deleted.
2
What
seconds.
happened?
He invites me on.
Yeah, and I was very clear earlier to the banned person who's probably still watching in rage. I said this was a safe place to express criticism of the show or negativity, but I also did say we're not here to be ripping on George or stuff like that. So if you have George negativity, I'm going to react like that. If you're ungrateful, then you're ungrateful, and just take that somewhere else, you know?
Yeah.
It's also hilarious. He's talking about like, yeah, you got to be part of the echo chamber, as if, you know, the entire media isn't, you know, overwhelmingly negative to George about the books and them not being finished. Yeah. It's like this guy is screaming all over Reddit, I'm sure, at George all the time, making memes, and it's just like, buddy, you are the echo chamber. You are the annoying echo chamber. We're sick of you. Go away.
And we've been sitting here disagreeing about various scenes on the show like this whole stream. So this is specifically not an echo chamber, but we're also like, if you can't...
Like there's just so much bad faith criticism that would only fly in an echo chamber that's like not, you know, there's legitimate criticism, but there are so many like bad faith meme level criticisms that it's like, yeah, that stuff does only fly in those negative echo chambers. That we're not sitting here glazing every single thing, you know.
Yeah. How's our poll doing? Well, Aegon has won the poll. Second place is very close, though. 22, 20, and 19. Like we were saying, there's just a lot of strong performances here. But Tom Glencarney, who I have met in person, outstanding fellow, very good, very sharp dresser. He definitely served this season, and good to see him get the material.
I'm surprised at Aegon. I'm surprised I said Aegon. I mean, I get it, but I'm still surprised. I'm like, wow. Okay.
he had a lot to work with like his, especially in the last 2 episodes, his "Behold me now" and then slapping his brother. Like he finished strong for sure.
Thank you for reminding me about that scene. Were they trying to evoke the third Silence of the Lambs movie? That guy that calls himself the Dragon. He's got all these tattoos and stuff, and he had one scene where he's like, "Behold me," and it was something like that, wasn't it?
You're talking about Ray Fiennes' character?
The Red Dragon. It was like 20 years ago. I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay, it's the guy who plays Voldemort, among other things. Yeah.
I probably remember a couple of scenes, but one of them was when he finally unveiled himself and all his tattoos, and it was like very freaky. And
I remember something like that. Yeah, I kind of remember that.
I feel like this was a comedic version of that with Aegon and Sunfire. Ralphie Fiennes. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've got all the super chats. I think it's spoiler time. Sorry for the typos. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's trying to interface with technology. Do you think we will ever see Squishers on screen? Probably not House of Dragon, but maybe The Conquest or Winds. Was Biter on Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Biter and Mordred.
There was
there.
Yeah.
How Biter did they go? I totally don't remember.
He said the line to Arya.
He just seemed like a wild man who was in the cage. They didn't really give you much characterization.
Well, in the books, Biter is a squisher, and we've seen him. We have not met Wyman Manderley, and we have not met Lord Burrell. So we haven't met Dagon Cod. So we have not yet seen a squisher, unless you count their version of Biter. But
if they do a Corlys Velaryon show, that might be your best bet.
Animated squishers have a better chance.
I'm so psyched if they do an actual life of Corlys Velaryon.
Yeah, that I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, it's an animated show, so it's not the cost risk that creating this kind of thing is. I don't want to wait another 2 years. Good news, Night of the Seven Kingdoms coming out next year. And by the way, I have a lot of content on my channel. Michael talks about stuff. Got a lot of content. Hero with 1,000 Voices, Nettles. We've got stuff. So
we got stuff.
We'll keep you
Come
busy.
on over to my channel.
You can live in Westeros anytime you want to.
Yeah, I do challenge people who probably don't understand me sometimes on the live streams to go to my channel. You might understand me a little bit better.
Nettles is doing a thing. You have to lock into it. Yeah, we were talking about that before the stream, actually.
Yeah,
goes over some people's heads, but we appreciate you.
Spoiler time.
Spoiler time. Hear ye.
You had a comment you wanted us to look at when we opened up spoiler time. It was a goldish. Yeah, it was a goldish orange super chat. If you wanted to go back and look at it.
I remember what it was. Are we in full spoilers? Have we given enough time for people who don't want spoilers? All right, get on out of here.
Yeah.
If you don't want to know major, because this is a major spoiler. So, it was, I believe the question was along the lines of, do we think Rhaenyra will tell Aegon about the prophecy when they meet back up, and that sets him off and causes him to kill her? And I don't think so. Because I think the question asked of would he be set off by the realization that oh wait, no, Viserys did actually choose her, and the gods may have even chosen her, and no, he knew Viserys chose her. On the way to his coronation, he was like, my dad didn't change his mind. He wanted Rhaenyra. So at the very least, the idea that Viserys did actually choose Rhaenyra won't set him off to do anything, because he knows that. At this point, it's gone beyond that. He just hates Rhaenyra now and wants to be the king.
So I agree with you on your point about Rhaenyra's thinking. However, I do like the idea that she'll bring it up in some way in that last scene. Maybe a desperate attempt to try to reason with him or tell him that it's bigger than this struggle.
Yeah.
He'll probably do the same laughter that he did with Aemon when Aemon's like, can you forgive me? He's like, whatever. What do you think, Sean? I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like the
That's
idea. I think absolutely not. If for no other reason than he is not capable of having children. So what is the point of passing down the prince that was promised idea down through him? It's going to end with him. So like if she's trying to make sure that it stays alive, telling him when he is incapable of making an heir is kind of a moot point.
Well, it might be more like a desperate plea or just like her last bit of rage, you know. I mean, might not be coherent.
And
Maybe.
also,
It'd
you
be
don't
like
have
you're
to be,
dooming the world by doing this.
Yeah.
but also you don't have to be the heir to get the information. Like, let's say maybe Jaehaerys told Viserys that's not his son.
We just
Like-
told all of King's Landing about it.
Yeah.
But Jaehaerys told Viserys because that was his heir at that point. His sons were dead.
Right. So Aegon could have an heir.
He
At
can't.
some point.
He's
No,
sterile.
like not a son, but whoever he chooses to take over.
Sorry. Yeah.
Aemon
Yeah.
I
could be his heir, you know.
Even if
like-
he said
True.
Daeron, like, you know.
So Aemond is dead by the time that happens.
And so is
But,
Daeron, but still,
Right.
one of those little
Yeah.
kids in the fighting pits in the child fight. Grab one
Tristan Fire.
Well,
of them.
Aemon's son, since we're in full spoilers, Aemon's son, we don't know what happens with that at all, do we? Like, 'cause,
Yeah.
like it cuts off, like you said. So, like, maybe he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got an heir somewhere." Like, that's one of the things I'm the most interested to see where they go with it, because they've established the dragon eggs. Like, is she gonna straight up hatch a dragon? Like, they're probably gonna tell us what happens with that, unless they leave it as a cliffhanger for a potential follow-up show. But like, I don't know
Yeah.
if they'll do that, or if they'll want to give us the closure at the end of next season. You know,
Yeah, that's a good question what they'll do with that. I didn't think about it from those terms. Like, they probably will want to close the loop somehow. I don't know. They could just show her pregnant to be like, "Oh, what's going to happen now?"
Yeah.
and then just never say. But
I think definitely something, because they made sure that she said the line last episode, "I want to give you a son." And then this episode, she talks about, "I had a dead son that maybe I might want to recreate somehow." So they wouldn't have included those lines.
had a Pomeranian one time. It died. I want another Pomeranian.
Please. Another subject we said we'd come back to in spoilers was about Hugh and Kat.
Yes, so let's talk about Hugh. So Hugh, I think this, I was wondering all episode how they're going to thread this. It makes sense. He was supposed to guard King's Landing, but he couldn't handle not knowing what would happen to Kat. So he flew there anyway, and then he blends in with the soldiers to get inside and get to his wife. So now his wife is dead. He's going to hold that against Rhaenyra and Daemon for assaulting the town. And since Ulf has already gone over, the thing is, we're not clear what Ulf is doing. Ulf is on Team Ulf. And so I think now Hugh is a wild card. His loyalty to Rhaenyra and Daemon is probably broken. He's disobeyed orders. His wife is dead. And so he's probably pretty pissed. And anything's on the table now, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bond between Vermithor and Silverwing might get him to the point where next season he's having a conversation with Ulf, and Ulf's like, "Hey, we should do our own thing," and then he'll from that be like, "All right, well, I'm gonna make myself king." Like, Ulf is probably not. He probably doesn't have that on his mind. He just wants a castle and to be awesome. He's like, "Okay, I'm fine with making you the king. I don't want that responsibility. Give me a nice castle." Like, and then
I
they
can see
might be together, because I imagine their dragons will, like, with the fact that the dragon bond seems to influence both sides, like, it will make Hugh and Ulf unlikely to want to oppose each other too much.
Yeah, like, how we can't. No, our pets love each other. We have to work this out.
Right.
I know. I agree with all that. I think that makes sense. Nettles, what do you think? The idea of Hugh and Ulf sort of getting on the same page, deciding that Hugh should be the king and Ulf's going to be his right-hand man. Like, I could sort of see that coming together.
But what if he blames Ulf for... How did Kat die? Was she bleeding, or was it like a rock to the head?
She wasn't burned. She was just dead.
No, there was a scene where they were fighting in house to house. Like, they were going house to house, and one of the soldiers, I can't remember which side, like, took her and threw her like a human meat shield to like knock the other guy off balance to go for an attack, I think, basically.
I missed that.
So she
Okay.
was a casualty of like random soldiers hand-to-hand
Okay.
combat.
I couldn't tell if that was her. I saw that happen to some woman, but I didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was
I'm pretty sure that was her.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
another
that-
one that somebody was on earlier that I tabled was Gawain being the one who drinks with Ulf.
Yes.
Oh, so
yes.
It's
that was my
Hobart
theory.
Hightower, who's already dead in the books. Sean, go ahead.
That was my theory last week. I did want
Okay.
it real quick. Oh, I think it's funny because we talked about I talked about Robert Baratheon and Ned being Ulf and Hugh and having a lot of their characteristics switch, like the other one's a drunk.
Mm.
And Hugh is the one married to Kat.
Okay. Yep. I can see that. And so this is, remember, after first Tumbleton in the books, there's Hugh and Ulf. There's a lot of chaos, and then there's Daron, and Daron becomes the focal point for the sort of Hightower lords that are still trying to rally together, and they're they come up with the Caltrops plan to kill Hugh and Ulf, and Daron is in on that plot. So they'll do some version of that next season, but you can see that it's interesting here. Daron will be trying to nobly take command and take responsibility of the situation, and Hugh and Ulf are going to have different agendas, and he's got a tiny dragon compared to them. So
We'll see. It's hard to predict this one because Ulf has burned both bridges, so that opens it up to like maybe Hugh never even flips. I don't know. We'll see.
I see Hugh passing judgment on both sides and being like, neither of these people are worthy of being king. Look at my beard. I have Vermithor.
Yes.
Maybe I should be king.
That's kind of how I feel, because Ulf, like you said, has burned both bridges. An independent two-dragon faction feels like the most reasonable way for them to both go, which is kind of another reason they might both team up. And also, I found Kat gets pushed by a Hightower soldier into one of the Northmen. We don't see her like the killing blow or anything, but she does get pushed really hard by the Hightowers into the Northmen.
She's caught up in the middle of it, basically, yeah. So it all comes down to their decision to assault the town and leave Hugh behind, which he's probably mad about.
Yeah.
Well, and this is something that you talk about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, just wrapping it up, like definitely Rhaenyra's fault, like not the Hightower's fault, directly for Kat's death.
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, the Hightowers did occupy the city.
But still, I mean, like...
True.
She was used as a human meat shield by the Hightowers in the first place, but then
that's why I
Rhaenyra
said he'll probably end up blaming
attacked the
both
meat
of them,
shield.
right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think he'll end up blaming both for something that it's also something that you brought up somewhat jokingly, David, but not completely jokingly, is about kind of the class warfare with Comrade Hugh, where he's just kind of upset at the Highborns. Ulf thought he'd be joining the Highborns, and now it's pretty clear he's been kicked around by both. He chose to light fire to both. And I think both of them are ultimately going to choose that the, Highborn and this, feudal system is not working. And whether they actually have good plans of what to replace it with, or they just say, you know what, we'll do a better job. I think they end up not taking either side.
Hugh with the classic political system of I should be in charge. That would be the best for everyone.
And of course, there's a prophecy too in the
based.
books. There's a little prophecy that runs around that Hugh thinks applies to him. We'll see if they do that.
And
I think
wonder
they
if
will,
they're gonna
given
do
all
that.
the.
Yeah. And it
Given
is a
all
cool
the
little
prophecy.
tie-in. Like, I think fans, if they phrase it in the right way, fans will be like, "Oh, I understand. A hammer did bring down the Targaryens." Like, yeah. I imagine they'll go for that.
I love the Ned, Robert, are Hugh and Ulf flipped thing. That's kind of great.
Yeah, that is good.
Let's see, what other spoiler talk do we have going on here?
We have a lot because it's the last episode. So it's like every scene that we saw, like where it goes from here is kind of like a spoiler, right?
Yeah, I was trying to remember what are the
Shepherd. There was a Shepherd one.
Oh yes, Will Masaria be the shepherd we put
I don't
that
see
off?
that. Mysaria's not a grandiose grandstander. She's not like having a screw loose. It doesn't track to me.
I could
Yeah,
see
No, but
Sylvie being the shepherd more than Massaria. Sylvie?
yeah.
I wonder if Masaria will go back to Sylvie and try to be like, hey, because they had that dynamic set up between the two of them, and now Masaria's been kicked out of the halls of power, proving Sylvie right. I wonder if Masaria now is gonna crawl back to Sylvie and be like, I'm on your side now. Like, let's work together.
She's gonna be like, hey, remember how you said my dress was worth like a year's salary? Do you know where I can sell this? Because this is all I got.
Yeah,
Plato's
who's it
closet.
worth
I would
your
like a
salary
year off
to?
of work.
Sean, can you say that again?
I said, yeah, who's it worth a year's salary to? Hypothetically.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think the fact that she killed the High Septon could end up being part of the impetus behind the Shepherd, who was, doing it based on Faith of the Seven type stuff. So if he's, preaching that the Targaryens are evil and that their dragons are evil and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it was Rhaenyra's order and another Valyrian who did this. So it's kind of like it could end up being that kind of dynamic is get the Valyrians or get the Targaryens out of King's Landing. Let's go kill their dragons.
Yes, that's a great point, Sean. This incident with the High Septon is no doubt going to feed into the storming of the Dragon Pit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So whoever the shepherd turns out to be, like, we understand why he'll be able to form a mob.
Yeah. And to the extent that Massaria will continue to be a part of the show, I do think it's absolutely in opposition to Rhaenyra because in the after the episode, which I caught part of but not all of, they talked about like Rhaenyra's speech in the full armor is like at least invoking some fascist imagery of like the powerful strong man, but she's a strong woman in her armor giving this rallying speech about how she is the chosen one to lead. And then Massaria's actress also said like Massaria is now seeing this, and she also used the word fascist to refer to Rhaenyra as like she has put this person in power who is now going against everything that she believes in. So like to the extent that Massaria has a motivation at this point, it's like to fix her mess that she now sort of feels like she's made seeing Rhaenyra do everything that she's doing this episode.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep.
How much do you guys blame Damon for, even in like Rhaenyra's arc is so nuanced. Even in this episode, we see a flip from the beginning of the episode to the end, a drastic flip. Because in the beginning, she is a basket case because she's like, "Oh no, Aegon's alive and the dragon, Damon. What do I do?" And Damon tells her, "You're gonna be militant from now on." And for the first time, we see Rhaenyra really internalize that. And I don't think there's gonna be flip flopping. We saw the outfit change to be more militant. We saw her, part of her sending Massaria away was killing that tender part in her heart, like kill the boy. Like you don't have time for like lovey-dovey hand-holding moments. She was being kind of like a little sharp with Joffrey, like you don't have time to be a mother. So like how much do you blame Daemon for that? Because it seems like his speech kind of set that off.
Yeah.
I blame I blame Rhaenyra because the thing is Daemon has, when you are a leader, you're going to have different advisors. It is your job to know what kind of advice each one is giving you. Like when Massaria says something, or Daemon or Sabbatha Frey, you have to know their context and background to know what they're really telling you. Rhaenyra has a lack of conviction on her own about anything other than being chosen to rule. So she doesn't really know how she wants to rule. If should I be emulating Viserys or Daemon or Otto in some weird way? Should I be asking Alicent for advice? She doesn't know. And that's like the source of her weakness as a character, is that she doesn't have the firm conviction of what to do. She took King's Landing. She didn't have a plan other than just to take it. Yeah.
I think part of the tragedy of it, too, is that she is choosing the wrong one to listen to in most cases. Like in the beginning, had she listened to Daemon and burned out Ormond's entire army the way Daemon wanted to, maybe it would have worked out a little better. But she tried to go the Viserys route first, the Massaria route first, and then things start to fall apart, and now she's fully flipped, and she's like, no, I'm going all in on Daemon's worldview now, and that's probably also going to come back to backfire. So it's like, it is, I
Yeah.
think, part of a tragedy of like, she tried to do things nicely first, whereas if she had maybe been brutal right away, she would have avoided a lot of these problems, and then she could have been nice for the next 40 years or however long she reigns, whereas like,
Well, so
yeah,
that's
I think
the
that is
difference
the
between her and
tragedy
like
of it.
Jaehaerys, right? So Jaehaerys is strong enough to listen to different advice and then have his own position and set that tone. The job of the leader is to set the tone. Jaehaerys is constantly setting the tone. Other people have to follow it. Rhaenyra is like looking around for who to listen to. It's like you have to listen to yourself at a certain point, and she doesn't seem to know how to do that very well.
It's also
But yeah.
kind of an interesting thing is part of it is who you choose to surround yourself by. So she chose some of these people almost by accident, where when you have Jaehaerys, like part of the strength of his reign is his wife is an extremely smart person. She's, I mean, so much so that despite her being a woman, they've put it in the history books.
Yeah, he had a team.
That's one.
Yeah.
Septon Barth, very, very, just competent people at all angles. Whereas, Rhaenyra is trying to do this by committee with people who have completely conflicting viewpoints and aren't willing to compromise and don't have a greater strategy. Like Daemon does not have a greater strategy. If you have enemies, kill them. That's the extent of his strategy. Like
and probably the most learned person she could have listened to was Corlys. And the first thing she did was piss him off and drive him away. It's like you were right to name him Hand of the King, but then you drove him away and basically he wasn't there to give you any advice.
But I guess my thing is Damon's been saying the same thing, the same advice, which is be militant. And she always said no. And so my question was like, in this episode, we see that change. And I just wondered, like, maybe he just wore her down. But to see her actually choose that this time, because she could have said yes a million times to that, but it's this moment that she chose to flip.
I think it is the events surrounding her that have worn her down, and the return of Aegon, and the fact that she didn't listen to him when he tried to burn Ormond, and now that's been a thorn in her side forever. Like, yeah, she is worn down for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's the indecision that has caused this. So, like, if she had gone with one strategy unwaveringly the entire time, she could have gotten good results in one or another way. The problem is she's kind of going back and forth between both, and other people are doing it on her behalf. Like the blood and cheese thing, she didn't order that, but that's a brutal Daemon thing that is attributed to her name. And it's just like, yeah, the inconsistency and the indecision. When you are being indecisive as a ruler, you pay the price.
Right. Like I said, she's not setting the tone. She's not saying, this is the direction we're going, everybody. Follow me. She's like, which way should we go? And that's not a leader.
Yeah.
So
Daemon straight up saying, like, you don't have to follow the queen's every order down to the word. Just, make her think you're following her orders, when he was talking to Sir Luthor. After he went and he's like, you don't actually listen to what Rhaenyra says. You just, like, tell her you're going to listen and then do the right thing anyway. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. Like, if she was setting a tone, that's not how her husband would be talking to the leader of her cops. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, last call for questions or topics, people in the chat. Anything we missed? We've been going for a while here. We've had over 1,500 people in the chat pretty much the whole time, so we do appreciate y'all.
Yay.
And,
thank you, guys.
Yeah, we do have to go and eat food and stuff here at some point.
Yeah,
it's been a long one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get waterboarded by soup.
Yeah.
And Michael's got to make 4 videos in like an hour.
Yeah.
Let's
keep him here. One
Michael,
pairing.
you're not using AI to do video editing, are you?
No, I just do slideshows, so the editing's nice and easy. And I don't script anything, so I don't have a need for AI scripts either.
What do you guys think of the?
It all comes off the top of Michael's head, which means he's keeping it under his hat. Exactly. Picks up the hat, turns the microphone on, it all comes right out.
What do you guys think of the pairing that never was, Bela and Daeron?
Oh yeah, that
Ooh,
is something we didn't
that
talk
would make
about.
me
Like the
feel
whole peace
weird.
offering was interesting.
Didn't they say
That would've been
Rhaena? Wasn't
cute.
it Rhaena they wanted to marry
Oh,
to
okay.
Daron?
It might have been. But either way,
That
the
would make
idea
me
of
feel
like,
better.
what if you let the Reach be independent and let Darren rule that as king? And it's like, then Corlys changes at mid-negotiation, and Gwen's like, "That's not what I offered." But
Corlys is
he's
like,
just
I
like,
don't
"No, just
care.
let
I'm
him."
trying to help out here. I'm trying to find a
Yeah,
path.
Like
Corlys is
nobody
like,
was
"I
gonna agree
understand
for you to be a
diplomacy."
separate king.
Yeah,
They tried
Okay,
that
which
with
I
the
think
in the War of the Five Kings too, didn't they? Didn't
Kinda.
somebody propose splitting the realm?
Renly said, "You can be
oh
king of the
yeah,
north and all that, blah blah blah, but you still have to swear fealty to me as,
yeah.
High King of the Seven Kingdoms."
Right. And
yeah.
there was some version of that in Fire and Blood too, that somebody proposed splitting the realm and it didn't
Yeah.
fly.
Apparently, it was
Dave,
in
you
the
got
Harrenhal
super
stage
chat.
play as well.
What'd you say,
Yeah.
Michael?
Apparently, it was in the Harrenhal stage play as well that there was talk of splitting up into separate kingdoms.
Interesting.
Yay! This is so bitter, 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 bitter end to our dragon show.
Thank you,
Our
Bull Wear
Sunday
the
service.
Purple. Appreciating our panel. And also Calvin. But yeah, like I said, subscribe to our channels. Lots of content coming. I'm like 2 or 3 videos ahead. I've got all kinds of stuff in the can that I'm going to be rolling out. I'm going to see the play on September 3rd. So very excited about that. I'll have videos coming out while I'm gone, and I'm going to try to. There's a castle you can stay at near Stratford, so I'm going to try to get a room in a castle for a couple nights and shoot my reaction video in a castle. So
Oh,
stay
that'd be
tuned.
so
That would
awesome.
be good.
That's great.
I'm looking
That's
forward to it.
awesome.
I've never been over there, so
Do you
yeah.
know where you're sitting? Like I went on the website because I was like, could I go to this? And then like I looked at the seat plan. I'm like, where's the best place to sit?
I
Like,
am right next to the stage, man. I am like in the
okay,
pit, in between the cross arms, like right up against the stage. It was one of those ones they released the ticket after it was sold out, and I just happened to find the one, so I kind of lucked out.
okay. So you're in the armpit of the T. That is a good place to sit. Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll get some
That's where
Robert
the lords
Baratheon
sit.
or some Mad King Ares actor spittle, you know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
It sounds like wherever you sit, you do kind of like you see different things from different angles from the sounds of it. So,
I might try to
Yeah,
go
and
to more than
also
one show if I can snag an extra ticket, yeah, because I'll be there a little bit.
yeah.
it also sounds like it is confirmed like going to be going on tour afterwards.
Oh, yeah?
I thought I saw that.
Hmm.
Like that's what I
Oh,
heard is that like it is moving to there was someone who, yeah, it's either confirmed or heavily implied that like after this run it is going to go to other theaters. So
Which means different
Sean,
actors
let's
will be
audition.
taking the roles, right?
Sean, let's audition.
it might be, I don't know.
Oh God,
I don't know.
you're
I
an
assume because I
actual
think that
actress. I'm
those
not.
actors are. I think those actors are tied up with the Royal Shakespeare area. Like
Yeah.
they work for that specific place. So yeah, I would imagine it's probably, but I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
that's how it works. If it goes to a different play, it'd be different actors putting it on. So that could be very interesting.
Yeah, they need to hire Nettles. I'll run lines. I'll cheerlead you, Nettles, but I absolutely not for me.
Yeah, the Ares looked incredible. The guy they got playing Ares, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, again, if you missed it, I put out a new moon meteor theory video. This Michael, you may have missed it, but it's in your feed. Check it out.
I
It's-
will check that out.
Yeah, it's moon meteor theory, but I've got some new meteor graphics from story blocks and doing some different things. So check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's bite sized, very easy to consume. I was watching it today, and it's good that you kind of update it so that like almost you probably have to make one every year because there's new people, coming to the fandom.
I try to keep it to every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Great Empire of the Dawn, Moon Meteors, they come back around periodically. So,
Yeah. Yay!
all right, guys. Well, thank you to y'all three and everyone else who came on the stream. all year. Couldn't do it without you. It's a lot more fun with the panel than just me talking. So
Yeah. Now we're in the long night, guys. We're back waiting again.
Yeah.
But it's cool. We'll be making videos.
and like
But
I
yeah.
said, next Sunday,
Yeah.
planning on doing the George Appreciation stream. Hopefully, all of you can dip through for at least a little bit or pop in the chat. And yeah, we'll be talking about what Ice and Fire means to all of us, and it means a lot to me. I've got a few things to say. So
Awesome.
here we go,
And
guys.
thank you for having us.
Oh, what's that?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. It's always fun.
Bye, chat. You've been the best on this
See ya.
8-week journey. Yeah.